Hey, it's me again. It's me. I am Connor. It's RIP 25 time. You're listening to it, and today here we are, standing before this Ring of Honor. They're gonna crown their first champion in a show wherein the title is similar to that sentiment I just expressed. Yeah, it's gonna be great. Actually, no, I didn't like this show, but it's okay. We'll get into it. During this episode's recording, my OBS thing glitched out again. Luckily, though, I was used to it this time, so just in case, I recorded it on my voice recorder on my phone as well. Around 20 minutes in, yep, my OBS file messed up, so the rest of the thing is going to be on my phone voice recorder. This means that the audio will be a bit lower quality. Sometimes I might like that, but it's okay. And also, you might hear me cough a bit more because I don't have my mute button. My editing is always strives to really stop you thinking I'm a human being who will die one day. But unfortunately, the mask came off for this episode. Luckily, this will be the last such episode wherein such events will occur. We got that shit sorted out in the next episode, which is the gay show. Anyway, this show went on as normal, and now you will listen to it after an interlude of goddamn two songs, really putting you back there. Shit, time capsule. Oh, here we go.
Gabe Sapolsky
I hate his produce. I hate what he gives to the world.
is a man.
He is a man. A man who should answer for his sins.
He's the man with the book man.
Bookman. Bookerman. Wow. Where are you going with this, Eva?
I don't know. So the day after I turned 10 years old, ROH crowned a champion over crowning a champion.
Wow.
It happened in the Murphy Recreation Center.
Here in Philadelphia, once again, the only place that Ring of Honor's ever ran up to this point. But they've got stuff down the pipeline. This is small
The
potatoes.
only place Gabe's allowed to be.
The only place that Gabe has friends. First ever thing that you see when you open the show, you see Loki. He is recapping his career in Ring of Honor. He says that it all started at the era of honor begins, and he says Christopher Daniels and whatnot.
He gets mad as soon as he said Christopher Daniels.
Christopher Daniels. This is a weird Loki voices because he's not really going to Christopher Daniels. He's enunciating more. It's weird to think of low-key voice, as far as what is an affectation, what isn't, because most of what he says ever feels like he's consciously trying to say it in that way, but there are levels to it. It's crazy. And he says that, on the road to a title, Christopher Daniels, you found out what happens when Loki's pushed too far. And then it shows the footage of what is officially, as we learn, sold as Loki attempting to murder Christopher Daniels with his dragon sleeper.
Yeah, great moment it was. Maybe this show just peaked.
Maybe it did. 60 minutes, 4 athletes, 1 title, 0 fucks.
Speaking of peaking, that Eki I popped an hour ago is kicking in. And fucking zwah, mate. I'm really feeling the trance tunage here. Give me a hug,
great.
Gabe.
Give me a hug, Gabe. Oh man, this is fucked up. Next we get Stephen Carino, the king of old school,
Yeah,
and
a big calm down.
the big come down. One of the questions that was on my mind after last show was, what's going on between the king of old school, Stephen Carino, and Simply Luscious? Because, like, that's what he says, so I suppose that's what I think. And this generally is just, like, a very, like, fucked up segment, right? Because, like, Simply Luscious, she's just there. She's kind of, like, smiling and, like, being pleasant about everything. Like, they're selling it as if, like, her and him are an item. They are lovers. They, like,
They're
like,
fucking.
love to. They're fucking, right? They're smooching and all that. The sparks were flying. But he's just being like, oh, yeah, I'm such a great broadcast journalist. And I'm great old school wrestling. And then someone's like, yeah, you are. And this is the portrayed to us as like sexual chemistry,
Yeah, it's
But-
just so natural. I don't want
It's just so natural. There is one thing though that they disagree on. And that's like he's like, oh, Simple Luscious with the prophecy, but that's just business. Me and her, it's personal. And then he goes like, oh, who's the best professional wrestler? She goes, Christopher Daniels. She goes, oh, that's okay though. That's okay.
Yeah,
It's fucked up.
he's not sure
I hate
about
it.
this allegiance, but it's okay because he gets to do sex on her.
He gets to do sex on her. What a storyline this is going to turn out to be in the coming shows, I'm sure.
It's going to be amazing.
Then you cut to Christopher Street Connection. They're back at it. Last show,
Back at it
they had-
again.
last show they head up on some gold, like with gimmicks like these, you just like throw stuff at the wall, and whatever sticks, just like sticks to you, and the banana that they like better with the skin off. They love that shit. So
Yeah.
like they're just eating bananas.
Tragically,
like,
they can
"Haha."
only enjoy dick-shaped foods.
They can only process potassium if they imagine they're being gay with it. It's crazy.
Yes.
They go to they open a door, right? Who is it they meet?
It's Brian Excel and some fools jumping around to some banging tunes.
They were just moshing in a fucking locker room.
Yeah, that's cool. I believe that was the formation of Special K, who are going to be a force to be reckoned with, in a sense. I love them, though.
I see.
I love them.
Am I mistaken in thinking that like one of them is wearing an Xbox shirt?
I didn't notice. Was the Xbox out in 2002? I suppose it would have been.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and then like they obviously reject the bananas, right? And that's fucked up. But like then they steal a banana. They steal a banana off of the Christopher Street Connection and they close the door. And then
They
Christopher
steal
Street
their
Connection,
bananas.
They're just have to be like, they stole my banana. Oh, it's crazy. And then this segment was probably my favourite segment on the show, to be honest with you. This is Jim Maritano, right? And he's there with Tony Mamaluke. Tony, he's not getting the message here. He's not like going with what James Maritano's putting down, So he's like, hey, where's the FBI shirt set? And then like James like, hey, Tony, forget about the FBI. And then who comes in but Boogaloo? Boogaloo. He just comes in. And he's like, hey Guido, I want to ask you a couple of questions about shoot fighting. And
Who could have seen
Guido,
this out?
He's like, hey, you can ask me a couple of questions, but do me a favor. Don't call me Guido. It's James Maritano. And then, it seems like we're going to get a nice little discussion of shoot fighting here. But then Tony Mambla goes, first of all, stop shaking hands. And so, like, Homicide, he's also there. And then he, like, takes great offense to this. He's like, how about you, FBI versus us, and Boston? How about it? And then James, he also goes, well, first of all,
First of all,
so he goes, first of all, I don't think that I would want to be partners with Tony Mamaluk anymore. But when a challenge is issued, and then he looks at the camera, a challenge is accepted. This is fucking insane.
yeah, this is just incredible writing here. I like when James Maritato is lecturing Tony Mamaluk about his gimmick, but he's like, "It's done, kaput," and he just is like, "Come on, man, you're still doing the fucking gimmick."
Yeah, like when the gimmick is being Italian, right?
Yeah.
You can't exactly just go like, "Oh, I'm not that guy anymore," but also I'm still Italian.
Exactly.
Oh, it's messed up. And
Did you
then,
mention
like,
Mamaluk's slightly racist comment as well?
Oh, what did he say?
When Boogaloo asks about shooting tips, Mamaluk decides to say, I bet the only thing you two know about shooting is giving it to a guy in a dark alley.
Wow, Tony Mamaluk. There's no reason to believe that Tony Mamaluk was saying that out of nothing but racism. So then James he says his piece and then he walks off, and then Tony goes, "Guido, what about the shirts?" I'll get him soon. FBI.
Has he not been listening?
Yeah, really, this is predicated on him just like not fucking like listening to one thing he's been saying. So then we get to this first match featuring Tony Mamaluk versus Jeremy Lopez.
Jeremy Lopez.
Jeremy Lopez,
Yeah.
the man, the myth.
The
You know
MILF.
anything about Jeremy Lopez? The myth. I was saying it myth. Yeah.
Oh. for you're calling him a MILF. The MILF, Jeremy Lopez.
Well, so Jeremy Lopez, he comes out lactating. Oh man, instant legend in Ring of Honor.
Yeah. Dangerous!
No foreign objects, including mother's milk. Oh man. Oh, Jeremy Lopez. What about
He hit
this
him with
guy?
the titty milk.
Hit him with the titty milk. Do you know anything about Jeremy Lopez? Is he an unknown to you?
He's relatively unknown, yeah. But it looks like he'd have travelled with the NWA Wildside crew that we'll see later on.
I see.
I think he's one of those guys. We get much more understated music than usual in the preview vid for this. It's like some underwater ambient shit.
Oh, that's true.
And then a joyous thing happens. Nobody starts talking. There's no commentary for this
there's
match.
no commentary. Ah.
Wasn't it pleasant?
Yeah, it was. Like, it was just fucking... Yeah, absolutely nice to just, like, be silent for a bit, yeah. I do, like... I do wonder, though, because as a result, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... I wrote 5 lines on this match. And one of them is just Jeremy Lopez. So, you know, it did sacrifice notoriety in pursuit of this no commentary. But I do suppose, like, you know, it's better for our health.
I suppose so.
Did
yeah.
you think much of this match?
I thought it was pretty good, actually. I don't know if it was just the lack of commentary, but I thought it was very solid, like, opener stuff. Like, Lopez was quite impressive as well. I didn't expect him to do much. There's a nice bit where he tries multiple times to roll out of an armbar before he muscles Mamaluk up above his head and down to the mat. Lopez really got his shit in, because then he does a whirly DDT followed by a tiger driver. Gets a decent near fall. Eventually, Mamaluk, he gets the upper hand with an underhook DDT, and then he locks his hands. What would you call that submission? When he's locking his hands?
It's a butterfly, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
it's
Oh,
a
yes,
double
yeah.
underhook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lopez taps to that. Unexpected pleasure of that. But again, my perception of it could be different if there was no commentary. I was just like focusing on the wrestling, and the wrestling was quite nice. So had a good time. For now.
For now, yeah. I was sort of reminded of just like, all like the Sunday night heat matches that have ever happened, where like, they go like a bit long for that, like maybe 7 minutes. And so like during the match, like, well, it's a thing where like at a certain point I just like started hearing voices in my head, where I just like, where I just heard like, I was like, I heard like Jonathan Coulson just be like, and Raven, what a night it was at Judgment Day. Hollywood Hulk Hogan back again as WWE champion. And then Raven goes, well, coach, you see, some miscarriage of freaking justice, I just like all that stuff. Like my mind created commentary when there was none, is what I'm getting at.
Oh. I see.
In this way, like, was quite revealing of like perhaps like the damage that's been done to me. But I did like when Tony Mamalik did a shoot and tapped this boy out with the damn butterfly. That was cool.
Yeah, Lopez, he'll never become a regular in Ring of Honor. He seems like he'd really fit into what they were trying to do when they started the pure title. Just able to have a good wrestling match, which is actually, quite nice.
You know what's crazy? Is see if like both Tony Mamalik and James Maritano just sat down and thought about it, they'd have more things in common than differences. However, they just let the superficial stuff tear them apart.
Absolutely.
I can't believe it.
Well said.
Then to move on.
Maritano, Mamalik, it's time to look at yourselves.
It's time to look at yourselves. Get some therapy. Quiet Storm. He's like talking a bunch about kicks, and it seems like a nice time, but then obviously it needs to be interrupted because Christopher Street Connection. He just wants someone to eat their bananas with. Would you like a banana?
For the last time, Christopher Street Connection. I prefer apples.
That's why Quiet Storm starts yelling at them, is because, he really likes his, fuck, what vitamin is it that Apple gives you again? A? A for apple?
Yeah, probably. That's probably why they named it.
So after like this whole appeal to vitamin A, then we get like this graphic that I fucking loved so much. It was Prince Nana, and it was Prince Nana.
Yeah.
And this new servant, Jacob's ladder.
His new servant. He's had a new one every week.
He's just flying through this shit. It's crazy. Do you know anything about Jacob's ladder? Is he someone who like becomes well known later on?
No, I don't know a thing about him. But he's probably not going to stick around long. In fact, no. I think this is the only match that he'll ever do in Ring of Honor. So
nice.
So yeah, more. If I know my relapse records, which I definitely fucking do, Gabe has once again used some brutal material from River Relapse.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's very true.
From Alabama Thunder Pussy to Zombie Enema, Relapse.com has you covered.
Wow. Indeed they do. Gabe, he is so fucking eclectic, man. You wouldn't believe it. You could just ask him for Rex anytime. He could be as busy as ever. He could be yelling at CM Punk about some shit, and you'll still be like, "Hey, here's this shit that you need to hear."
He's got the tune plugs. Don't worry about that with old Gabe stuff.
How many times do you think Gabe said, "Listen to this, it will change your life"?
605.
Hell
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
Hell
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
That's a good
Good
number.
number.
No, wait. 420. 69.
Wow. Imagine a game just like, that's the only reason here for networks ever is just like to find like 42,069 people with which to say that particular phrase, just so you can say that he's done that. And can you imagine as well, once you reach that number, and you're just like, you're trying to recommend like fucking yes to someone, and you want to say it, right? But you're like, oh, I don't want to make that 42070. Ah. Oh,
Tragic.
Nana and his new servant Jacob's ladder, they are going against Math York. So that's
Yeah,
a
or full effect.
full effect, sure. It's quite a choice for your second match, Gabe. Anyway, Prince Nana comes out, and he is like, hey, nobody is to touch my head and neck because I got kicked in it by Loki, and now I am concussed. So,
Yeah.
that's fair enough.
The crowd are chanting, Loki killed you.
Yeah. Imagining them like chanting that at a grave. Speaking of like stuff that like perhaps would be better be off in a grave. Don and Steve, hello.
Oh no.
Oh no.
It
Yeah,
couldn't last
that's right.
forever.
Donnie, the first like big substantial point he sinks his teeth into is regarding this very concussion that Prince Nana supposedly has, because he thinks that he is like faking it. Like Stephen Carino, he says like, "Oh, I thought he was actually hurt." And he goes, "Steve Carino, if you ask me, he's a new Black Bob Orton because he's faking an injury in the middle of this ring. Nana's no more hurt in the head than I am."
I think you are hurt in the head, Donny B.
Now, see, this is honestly the main point of it, is that Donny B's like telling on himself as being brain damaged, but the lead that's buried here is the prospect of a new Black Bob Orton, as if there is an old Black Bob Orton. What the heck's with that, Donny B?
I like this epic chant time where parts of the crowd, they chant Nana sucks. But that's not enough for a portion of the crowd who have to add dick at the end. Each sucks.
Jesus.
Sure, he sucks. Dick.
Originality from the wrestling fans. Nana gets bopped in the head after he said not to bop him in the head. Math York, they just do it. So he decides, I'm
They're just
going
coming
away.
out and doing it.
I'm leaving the match, and that'll be that. Jacob's ladder, he dies.
Yes. Yeah, this guy looks quite intimidating. He's like covered in tattoos. He's like, if someone goes to jail on a TV show, that's the first person they meet. But like,
Sure.
here he's fucking useless. He just gets fucking murked.
He gets full affected.
He gets fully affected by the full effect.
Yeah, to the fullest extent. You love to see it. Match ends after this. Jacob's ladder has been abandoned. Perhaps he is no longer the servant of Prince Nana. Sad for him. Then
Boo-hoo.
Christopher Street Connection. Prince Nana, he goes backstage in Christopher Street Connection. They're well acquainted, those three. They try to help him in his time of concussion. He is all like, "Oh, get away from me! Do not touch me!" and all that, right? That's fucked up.
Yeah.
What happens then?
They ask if his head's alright, and then they give him a little kiss. Nana was not pleased.
Nana was not pleased. I may be concussed, but I'm not so concussed that I'm gay. Yeah, it's also current by Gabe. So then, like, Christmas Street Connection, they seem like they're not very bored by this. And then they hear their music play, so it's like, oh, I guess we have to go out now. So I don't know, I suppose the audio guy just like says, let's have these guys come out now. And then they come out, and they like come with Alice in Danger. Matthew York, they have this lady with them as well. So, that'll come into play. Chekhov's manager. Christmas Street Connection, they come into the ring.
That lady is
and-
Alexis Lurie, who would later become Mickey James.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable turn of events here. Ring of Honor, crowning a champion. Christopher Street Connection, they come into the ring and they get on the mic and they say a bunch of stuff. And Matthew York, they start to like get aggressive with them. So one of the Christopher Street Connection says, "I'll twist you tighter than those braids, Poppy." So, that's quite a badass thing to say. Then turns out the main reason they're there is because Alison Danger, she's got the hots for Mickey James.
She had. She had. It's hard to understand what the Christopher Street Connection are saying on Das Dick. It works extra well to say Das Dick with Christopher Street Connection.
Yeah, because
But,
it's like a penis.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I was going. Karina says, "What language is that? Gaynese?"
Guineas, that's right, yeah. Oh, man.
Fuck it. I'm not above finding that funny, to be honest.
Wow. So yeah, Alison Danger, she is a lesbian. She goes up to Mickey James and she's like, "Hey, I've always liked you." And then Mickey James like, what are you saying to me?" And then you start brawling. And then Christopher Street Connection, they punish this behavior because they give her a sparkle spank. You know what that involves, Eva, is they get like sparkle on their hands and then they lightly apply it to the ass and then they spank the ass. It's crazy.
And the ass is never to be the same again.
Yeah. In sumo, Goeido, he has this special move, Kuminage, the neck throw. It's sort of like a side headlock takeover, which you can imagine that when you're 400 pounds is a lot harder to do. It's very rare that he pulls it out ever. He actually pulled off this tournament that's happening right now, and it was very, really good, really beautiful, and the sparkle spank, it really gets up there,
Sure. Okay. Anything you say.
What about this car, Eva?
A car? Oh, a car! There's a segment with Rudy Boy, who's TWA Boys, exiting a car. Biohazard is he's having issues with the attitude of that damn Michael Shane.
Yeah, foreshadowing. You know what? This is capturing them after
A car journey.
the long car ride over the mythical transit that commentary has hyped up so much. They're like, that was 5 hours we just traveled. And we were like, oh my god, look at the fucking dedication of these athletes. So yeah, Rudy Boy, he's got his hands full of these kids that he's training. And as it turns out, these kids that he's training, they get to fight another because it's the second ever ROH contract tag match.
Oh. Oh no. Yeah, this just brought me so downer. So this is just one of my notes is where I'll read out 2 of my notes here. It's Gabe, and then this is not okay. It's just so dumb. A tag match where only the person who picks up a pinfall wins the thing that's on the line. Why aren't you making a 4-way or something?
Yeah.
Gabe.
This is. I think this is something we can touch on more when we get to the Iron Man match. But it's something where this match, right? It has segments and spots and whatnot that play on the hypothetical logic of, oh, this is a tag match, but only one can win. So if my partner's making a pin, I might just go in and break up that pin, right? And under the constraints of this concept, that makes sense and it's logical. The problem is, the concept is fucking stupid.
Really, really fucking stupid.
Yeah. It's terrible. It's terrible. Anyway,
I don't think
the
we actually said
participants.
who's in this. So it's
Yeah, the participants in this match
Don
is Paul
Juan,
London
Don
and
Juan
Don Juan, right?
against Biohazard and Michael Shane.
Michael Shane, he's experienced in this type of match, you know. The Ring of Honor contract match. Oh man, so Steve Carino, he really sets out like this match here because he says a contract is very important here in Ring of Honor.
I'm sure it is.
Oh man,
Oh yeah,
the
they're doing the. Is it this match? They're doing the thing where So Michael Shane wins, right?
yeah, he does.
Are they doing the thing where they try and make out that Michael Shane will now be flown in by plane?
That's right. Yeah, yeah. Okay,
That's the biggest bullshit ever.
Okay, so Steve Carino does not say that line in a vacuum. He follows up with like, oh, you don't have to pay for your hotel, you don't have to make the car ride over, and like, yeah, I think in there he mentions like, just like, ah, you get flown on a private jet or something. Oh man, crazy.
Imagine how that would feel as a wrestler winning that match to get a privilege that you don't actually get.
Oh fuck, that's right. Oh man.
It's like, he won't have to pay his car ride over. Wink, wink. Yes, he fucking will. Ring of Honor's not fucking flying anyone at this point. That's for sure.
Oh my fucking god. I hope that David Starr brought this up in his rant. Like just gave like during work stipulations that would better the lives of his workers and just be like, no, that was just fake pro wrestling. You mark.
Yeah, he wants to be realism based, but whoa, I'm not actually really gonna fucking do that. So yeah, this match it's not really worth like breaking down. Like London does some nice things because he's Paul London, but Gabe, why is this a tag match? That is the crux of this match. Like I can't get into it.
Well, I thought it was quite alright. Donny B, he in the opening parts he says that it's Paul London Resident Evil in the ring, and he says that Paul London is jogging from possession of Resident Evil, but like at that time Resident Evil is walking off to tag out, so Donny B just not fucking paying attention, and Steve, he fucking does it again. Paul London is in the ring, right, and like it gets brought up how like that like Marvell guy, he like got his leg murked, and then like Steve goes, ha 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 ha, tough break for that kid, and then like he goes like, Steve, that's a horrible thing to say. You know very well what injury it's like in the world of professional wrestling. Like, imagine having done it. Me as like a parent, and like he like tells you off, and like it's just in this fucking Microsoft Sam voice. You would grow up so strange.
What about when he says that Michael Shane is related to the HBK man himself, Shawn Michaels? This man has never watched wrestling on tape ever. He doesn't even know who Shawn Michaels is.
Wait a minute. The Heartbreak Kidman?
The Heartbreak Billy Kidman himself.
Wow.
Shawn Michaels.
Wow. That's fucked up. The master of the HBK, Donny B. Lovely stuff. Anyway, Resident Evil, like he hits this like really good suplex that just like, fucking like neck pump shit, It's very powerful. Especially against living things. And then, he also does this thing where, that Mr. Perfect move, where you, like, jump over a guy, like, fucking snap his neck or whatever. You snap his neck back. He does that from the top rope to Don Juan. He was almost a Juan sandwich. And then from there, generally, the commentary on the show, I think that both of them sounded less enthused than they normally do. Or than they normally try to be. Did you agree?
I didn't take note of it.
It's just something about it. It felt as if they came back from a funeral or something. Somehow, it just felt as if, like, the life had went out of their voice,
Maybe
like maybe Donnie.
Maybe even they figured out This is fucking stupid. I'm not gonna put. I'm not gonna put any effort into this. This is stupid. I will say they do a mildly better job than the last time they did the stipulation on the debut show, because London actually stops his partner from getting a pin. It's like, whoa,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
that makes sense, Gabriel. And then
yeah.
London and Shane, they both do moves on the other guys before both pinning. The ref counts to 3, but apparently only Shane's pin counts, so Shane's on. Okay.
Yeah. No, Michael Shane.
Michael Shane will fly to Boston next month.
He will fly to Boston. All expenses paid. He's going to a
First
penthouse
class
too.
flight. Fucking private billionaire's jet. Fucking.
You know what I'm imagining is that like Gabe, right? He gets all the guys in to tell him like what they're doing that night, like who's going over and all that, and like he thinks it's the funniest thing in the world that he makes these stipulations for like these like lavish living conditions that don't actually apply to real life. And so he just sitting there going like, and Michael, you're gonna win and you're gonna go on a jumbo jet and go to a hotel.
You'll,
And then like
there'll
and
be
then, like,
nothing
Michael
but
Shane,
champagne and caviar for you, Michael Shane.
and Michael Shane out of respect just goes So Michael Shane, he gets the victory, the contract, and then like in this moment of triumph, he decides to get on fantastic, and then he turns heel. Perhaps he was always heel, but now he's being explicit with it. He's calling out Spanky. He's calling out like his other compatriots in the Rudy Boy camp, and he's saying like, oh, like I do outstanding moves, more outstanding moves than you, especially you, Paul London. And then Paul London, he gets back in the ring and he goes, "Hey, you're saying
He
that?
really,
You're
take,
saying
he really takes exception to that. He's like, hey, my moves is fucking sick.
my moves are sick. If you're saying that they're not sick, that's a slap in my face." And then Michael says like, "Oh yeah, yeah, man, this first slap in the face," and he slaps him in the face.
Just before the Shane promo, I think there's a that match sucked chant.
Wow. Oh man, that is quite funny. Yeah, this post-match angle, this really sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a weird thing. It's like London's like, well, I've got the best boost, so I should have won. I love you, Paul London, but that's not how it works.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking more like how. Okay, so they do the slap, right? And then like after this they just run a fucking sequence. They try and hit their top rope finishing moves, and it's like not only is this meant to be a brawl, but it's a brawl to set up a feud that's just like I do moves better. No, I do moves better, and then that's the extent of like the animus between them. And then after this, they get pulled apart, and Rudy Boy calms them down. But then they go backstage, and like Michael Shane's like, "Oh, I did much better than you, London." And then like Paul's like, "Ah, you're let me at him." And then like Boy, amidst all this like chaos, he just goes, "Okay, look, I'll talk to Gabe," and he goes off.
Yeah, Gabe does this a lot, where he like, where he's done it at least in the last 2 shows, where he books an angle or a segment where it's like, okay, there's some brawling here, but it just looks like a sequence in a match. It's like there's like a fundamental thing wrong here that he doesn't really know what an angle brawl should look like.
It's incredibly fucked up of him to do. Yeah.
Yeah, he thinks it just looks like fucking 11 minutes into a match. You
Yeah,
dummy.
like, you fucking dummy, Gabe. You dummy. You're a dummy.
You're a dummy dum.
Speaking of, well, this isn't very dumb. I liked this match quite well. Divine Storm versus Hit Squad top tag team decision match in the Ring of Honor.
Yeah, we see a replay of Quiet Storm going absolutely fucking robbo on the Hit Squad last month when he just
Very true.
unleashed like all this passion in him.
All this passion.
It was just insane. My next note, I'm assuming that it's a commentary inspired note. It's this is Ring of Honor. This ain't sports entertainment.
It's only in Ring of Honor that you can see tag teams like this without any of that gimmicks. Without any of that circuit of me.
Yeah, so we're approaching the end of our time with Donny B and I think Steve Carino on commentary, but this ain't gonna stop. We're still gonna
No.
hear this is Ring of Honor. This ain't that sports entertainment crap.
Yeah.
We're gonna
To
hear
quote
it
quite,
every time. We're gonna hear the Code of Honor.
we're
Hear
gonna
all
hear the
that
Code
shit.
of Honor. To quote Quiet Storm himself, can't stop, won't stop, going, going, going. This match, it starts off. It's a grudge match because the Quiet Storm said a bunch of shit to the Hit Squad, and so they go to shake hands. Right, Divine Storm, they decide, hey, we don't like these guys, but we are honourable, so we will pair our hands. Now this is fucked up because the Hit Squad, they've been the mascots of Ring of Honor, as it were. They loved the handshakes. They wore t-shirts that have a PNG of like handshake clip art on them on the back, and yet they see this opportunity to be honorable for them, and they just like fuck you, and then like Quiet Storm, he just goes, who the fuck you think you are?
Yeah, Divine Storm, they're still getting fucking brave. It wasn't just a one show thing. They're shouting in the Hit Squad's faces. And the Hit Squad, they do a great combo of confused and angry at like these little, these little pipsqueaks, basically getting in their
Yeah.
faces and telling them that they aren't shit. They don't know how to process it. They know they're offended by it, but they just can't believe it's happening still. It's fine. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a really great look. Credit to the Hit Squad there.
Yeah, yeah. It's a good dynamic, honestly. It's kind of similar to something like, say, like the Backseat Boy versus the Hate Club, because the Hate Club will be like this, like, clear top tag team, right? But then, like, the Backseat Boys feel as if they're an established enough tag team that them versus the Hate Club, the winner might not be in doubt, but it'll still be a very interesting match. Similarly, like, you don't think that Divine Storm is really gonna win this, but they're the best competition that like the Hit Squad have had. Probably really legit competition because like everything else has just been like gay bashing.
Yeah,
It's nice to see like this tag team that like ends up getting it matched, but they just like give it a go, and I think it's nice. You know.
yeah. I think it's going to be more positive from more positive output from the Hit Squad from this point on. They've sort of done everything they can with Dagays, I think.
Tag gates.
Pretty sure they just they get a lot more likable from now on. You gotta hook the leg. You gotta hook it.
Yeah, Jesus fucking Christ. What are you doing?
We love when that leg is hooked.
That was what I said to myself when I heard that. What are you doing?
So does
But,
commentary
yeah.
sound really weird on this match for you? Sounds like Steve Carino's on his phone.
Yeah, like I think that's it as well. Is that like Steve Carino, like his audio quality is different because like his voice kind of sounds different, and like yeah, he doesn't have like like I've become so acquainted to like the old school Steve Carino's cadence and like tone and whatnot, and it just feels different here. It doesn't feel as if like he's like fully on, and it's strange. Yeah,
I feel there's a good chance that he's probably in Japan trying to do this. I know that
wow.
it's a thing that is like ROH had quite a lot of plans for him. Obviously, like as a commentator, there's loads of storylines revolving around him. But I know that the Japan commitments, 01 and whatever else he was doing, sort of got in the way of that a lot. Yeah, it would have mostly been 01.
Yeah, man. That's fucking like crazy. So what the fuck kind of like phone connection does Gabe have that he could just like like yeah, it's low quality, but like he's crystal clear and like over international waters. Gabe, what kind of like how did you get like 5G back in 2002? Jesus,
Yeah, I mean, it
that'd be
is
nice
good
to.
phone. It is good phone quality for 2002, but it does sound like it's on his phone or something. He's definitely not in a room with Donny B.
Donny B just
Nobody
like
wants to be in
doing
a
all
room
his
with
car.
Donny B.
Donny B just doing all his commentary. Meanwhile, just phone just going. Oh man, Hit Squad, they win. They like batter Chris Devine. Soon enough, he gets pinned by the battering, and it's crazy. Hit Squad, they do shake hands with Devine some afterwards. Maybe they don't like each other, but god damn it, they have to respect each other. So they shake hands.
Yeah.
That's the code of honor.
Adhered to.
If you want,
We love to see it. We love it. We love it so much. We can't live without it.
if you would like another explanation of the code of honor, press 1.
To hear the rules of the Code of Honor, please press 2.
To hear about the principles of honor that drive ROH, press 3. For other options, hang up. That's all we're fucking offering you.
If you're not adhering, fuck off. Please press the fuck off button.
Like on the ROH hotline, like you'll get put on hold, right? And like you'll go, man, this is bullshit. Why is our code of honor? And like you'll be waiting for like on hold for like an hour, right? But as soon as you say that, Gabe just comes and like, don't disrespect the code of honor.
Oh, Angry Gabe.
Angry Gabe.
Oh my god. Stay away from
Yeah,
me. I didn't do anything wrong. Please don't hurt me, Gabe.
You just, oh, it's crazy. Something like very haunting happens next because Loki is doing push-ups in his space, you know, just training for this world title match. And then Xavier, he's here. What's up, Loki? I just wanted to wish you luck in this match. Hey, by the way, I'm the only one you didn't beat in the tournament, so perhaps once you win the title, you and me can face off. Then Loki just goes, fair enough. Then the shake on.
Yeah, Xavier feels like he really loves doing these type of segments, where he just has to say a line to further a story. He's
It's
just
he
so
just
natural
feels
at
like
it. Just kidding. He's really robotic actually.
he feels like a Silent Hill character or something. You know what I mean?
I've not played the game, but I do know what you mean. Just like character in a video game, just a weird ass voice delivery.
Yeah, it's crazy. So he does that. It gets informally scheduled. You know, handshake agreement. You know, similar to the handshake agreement that what was it? Kenny King was on when he was with ROH, right? So, like, because of that, like, he could just leave. So who knows how much like this agreement will hold? I suppose it's on
Yeah,
recording.
The handshakes will eventually fuck over ROH. It might take
Wow.
might take 10 years, but
Damn, it's too true. Gabe Sapolsky. And then we get into this next match, the graphic of which obviously features Jay Briscoe, right? And Jay Briscoe's graphic, he's just like, you know, doing a bunch of stuff, looking hyped up. And then it like cuts to with Mark Briscoe, and he's going, and then
Donny
who?
B, he says that every match here in Ring of Honor is very important.
Is it?
Of course it is. Donny B said it.
Oh, I have to trust that. Yeah. So Jay, he is against James Maritato, and this match fucking sucked.
Go into it.
Well, mainly it's because of the commentary, but I do think as well that, like, okay, we would have brought this up before about how James Maritato, right? He is the shooter, but in his heart he's still a little Guido. Not even like as part of the storyline, it's just that he will bump like him. As in, like, you know, the stuff that we love about, like, you know, a fucking Nunzio match where he gets, like, you know, squashed by the Undertaker, and he goes, ooh, you know, and, like, the whole dramatic stuff. Like, he does that here. And, like, you know, it's like, so against what he's trying to do. and like it's so against what like the commentary trying to sell them as, and like so it can just be a bit fucking like disorienting in that way. And Jay, like he can be a bit like fucking like awkward here sometimes, and it's a bit shit. And the main thing is about how the commentary in this match, because Donnie B, he's never like watched wrestling on tape ever. He finds it boring, and so he doesn't know anything. Like one of the first moves in the match is an STF, step over, toe hold, face lock, basic shit, you know. And then like Donnie B sees this, he racks his brain, his big brain, for a move, a name, and he just goes, "Oh, crippling crossface type variation there." And then furthermore, James Maritato, he pulls out Wakigatame, he pulls out Fujiwara armbar, and they're like, "Oh, Fujiwara armbar," and they also go, he like does Jujigatame, right? And like, "Oh, Fujiwara armbar variation," and soon like after the third time they said his name, Steve Carino, he goes, "Oh, you know, Guido was mixing it up with Fujiwara over that UWFI promotion." No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. Never wrestled him in his career. He wrestled fucking like Sakuraba and like young Takayama and all this shit. Fuck off. And then this continues because this is a show where the Ring of Honor turnbuckle pads have been put in, wherein it's like a long strip rather than like three pads. You know, and they'll say Honor, ROH, and all that, right? Now, look, Eva, I'm gonna level with you. This is a concept that is like, if you look at a boxing ring, it'll probably have these stripes. This is a design that is very universal, I would say, in ring design of combat sport. But unfortunately, for me and for everyone else, Carino, he has to be like, "Hey, a lot of people get tripped up on these turnbuckle pads. They're very Japanese. They're like what you see in that emperor suit."
Classic.
I hate this shit. I hate this shit. Hate it.
Damn, is the tag rope turned up yet? I'm not sure. I didn't notice.
No, the tag rope didn't turn up on this show, no.
No. Fuck's sake, where's the fucking tag rope? We need the tag rope. I want a Japanese Puro style tag rope. That's what makes wrestling great.
That's what makes wrestling great. I'm not supposed to enjoy this when, like, you know, I'm just sitting there like, God, they're being fucking real ambiguous on the tag rope, you know. You know, I'm a single issue voter. I can't really, you know, swing either way without this sort of shit. Anyway, Mark, he like when he fulfills the chaos purpose in this match. Eva, do you know about chaos purpose?
No.
That's a combination of words that Dis used recently.
Is it?
Yeah. He was like saying something like, "Oh, he was doing this to fulfill the chaos purpose."
That's brilliant.
And so now, like, me and the boys, we've just taken to saying it like for like people who like you know are crazy, and crazy that's the word that can like describe Mark Briscoe because for the purposes of the chaos purpose, he'll just be like he'll be cheering for James Maritato, who's the opponent of his brother, and they'll be like, "Oh, Jay Briscoe getting beat up. Mark looks like he's happy. What the fuck?"
So I didn't have such a negative reaction to this match, but the commentary is so fucking bad. It's
It's terrible.
Briscoe like hooks Maritato's leg while standing and lifts him up for a kind of stunner. It's a unique enough maneuver, and Donny B says, "Nice roll through." I'm so
You can't get anything right.
I'm so glad I can mock someone else for not knowing moves.
Yeah. You know,
This person's even worse than fucking me.
you know, you go through your life thinking, why should I be punished for like my ignorance in this regard? Why can't we all just get along together, right? But then you find someone who you can make fun of, and you're like, oh, this power. I must have it. I must make fun. So yeah, I felt it before. I know what I feel. My favorite part of the match, I have to say, is when Jay Briscoe does the running, jumping DDT that the Undertaker does. That was cool. But soon after this, turns out that Mark doesn't agree with me because he walks away. Why, Mark?
Mark.
Mark.
That's your brother.
That's your brother. Oh. So then, James Maritato, this is fucked up about it, is that Tony Mamaluke, he's the gimmick guy. He's the guy who's like, oh, I don't care about the shooter stuff. I just like want to do like the fake pro wrestling garments, right? I want to be sports entertainment. But he finishes his match off a submission hold that is legitimately used. Meanwhile, James Maritato uses a fucking unprettier. You kidding me?
Yeah, I mean, Gabe. Come on, Gabe. But there's one more commentary note I'd like to make. Steve Carino, he says, go to our website, www.rohwrestling.com, and then he says, oh, he kicked out there. Beautiful kick out. Beautiful kick out. Beautiful form in that kick out. He really got that shoulder up there.
I heard that, right? And I thought it was quite dumb. But now that it's just sort of like a ring of, oh, hey, look at that kick out. That's funny now. Oh, man. That's
he's talking himself into a hole. He's like, wow, beautiful kick out there. Trying to get out of it.
This is what happens. Like, I heard recently of like this new procedure that they're going that people want to try to do. It's likely like something that's not going to come out of everything, but in any case, like it was just this thing where like, oh, scientists are finding ways to make people like experience a 10,000-year prison sentence in a day, right? Stuff like that, where it's just like it's crazy mind-bending shit that like will probably be used for malicious evil, right? And that I think Gabe has access to these sort of drugs because it's just sort of like it explained it so much if like Stevie Carino and like Donnie Bean are both given these drugs that make them think that they need to talk themselves out of a hole somehow, and that's why they just keep fucking missing the code of honor. They're just always trying to transition away from something like that might embarrass them.
Yeah.
Mark, you have abandoned your brother. James Maritato, he's gotten a victory. They do the code of honor, but I don't know. I wouldn't be proud of that victory if I was James Maritato. Anyway, then we get to
Christopher Daniels. Here's my 2 notes on this segment. Christopher Daniels is being a nerd. He is really sweaty.
It's too true. The 2 things are too true. There's a certain point where the video file skips. so he's like, oh, it is a plan of that prophecy to bring Ring of Honor down, and what better way to do that? And then, in a cinematic parallel to the Loki promo, Christopher Daniels, he goes over his career in Ring of Honor, and the way that he addresses like what happened in Road 2 the Ring of Honor title is that he just says like, Loki, you tried to murder me. And I love that shit. But what I did love was how, he established this catchphrase of his last show. That was whenever he finished something, he says, that's the gospel according to me. Right? And, it's sickening, but you gotta stick with what you started, But this time he finishes off and he just goes, Amen. Hallelujah. Come on, man.
Yeah.
I'm dying over here.
Christopher Daniels.
Christopher Daniels.
Disappointed Loki voice. Christopher Daniels.
Oh, Mom, Dad, what did you give me for Christmas? Oh, Christopher Daniels. It's an honorable present, Mom.
So after that waste of our fucking time, we cut to an incredible segment. You mentioned the Brian Excel segment being probably the best segment or thing on the show. I think this has to take the cake.
Yeah.
Right, first thing we see is a man violently screaming into the camera, and it turns out Doug Williams has him upside down by the leg in the submission. What's that submission called, Connor?
The Brock Clock.
The Brock Clock. Oh, Listener used to do that, didn't he?
Yeah, that's what I know it as.
And Doug says, "This is Loki. This is Daniels. This is Spanky." And that's it. It was fucking awesome. It was fucking awesome.
This is Spanky.
I couldn't recall like seeing that kind of aggression out of Doug before, and he's really good at it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, like just like torturing him. It's quite like a nice like sort of like callback because the Hit Squads they told Loki that it's not about Christopher Daniels and all these other people, but Doug Williams saying this is Loki, this is Christopher Daniels and whatnot. It's crazy, You know what I loved was that we get a cameo here. Can you guess from who?
No, I cannot.
It's the master of the Camel Clutch blog, Eric Gargiulo, because he's commentating the stuff that gets replayed from the past.
So this counts. This counts as a Camel Clutch blog
Do
entry.
it.
I will now proceed to look on the epic Twitter page that we all love.
What have you got for me?
Well, to be quite honest, not much. This guy's Twitter account is fucking boring. At this point, that's what I'm going to say. Well, he has retweeted The Onion, which is a blast from the past to me.
Wow.
I didn't realise people still like followed that shit. There's Pornhub announces contest to allow one user under 18 to view content. Fucking brilliant satire there. Amazing satire, commentary on social issues there.
As we've discussed before, Eric Gargiulo, like, he doesn't laugh, right? So, like, he just, like, read this and he's like, that'll be the day, and then just retweeted it.
It's very true. Eric, I'm pleading with you. More original content, please. Not just retweets. Fucking Sting. Listen, I know Sting's cool and everything, but you gotta hold back on that stuff. I've got a fucking long-running segment to think about here. You've got to be entertaining for my fucking benefit. Jesus Christ, Eric Arjulo. You gotta be kidding me.
Sting loves Jimmy Seafood. I know where I'm dining this time I go out. It's the only restaurant approved by the Stinger. John, I'm a little Stinger myself.
He is a little stinger. Eric Arjulo.
Did you have the poster of Sting on your bedroom? Alright, enough already.
So the reason Eric Gargiulo's come up here is because he's featured in part of his preview video where they show clips from the first show. Hopefully they remind us of the Natural Born Sinners using that rubber chicken. Everybody loved it. Everybody thought it was brilliant.
Yeah. He took issue with his Ring of Honor commentary, right? Because obviously he ain't got no chemistry with the Torino. It's not his fault.
Yeah.
But like in this like vacuum of like isolated clip of him just going like, he's in love with a chicken. Like, it just sounds like a CCW show. It's great. Like, he's just back home for like one moment. It's nice. I hate to see, look, he laid down the law and he was punished for it. So now he has become lawless, honourless. Him and DeVito, like, they are just going for a fight without honour. But they've not made that concept yet, so now it's just a bunkhouse brawl.
Yeah. Natural Born Sinners, Boogaloo on Homicide against the Carnage Crew, DeVito, and Connor's favourite wrestler, Loke.
Have I disliked him enough to warrant like that reputation?
Well, I think so because I vaguely remember last time we covered Ring of Honor, I sort of stuck up for like towards the end, and you
Oh,
cut me out. You just cut the whole thing out. So I'm going whole hog this time, full dick and balls. That's your favorite wrestler, HC Loc.
well, I will say that I usually cut the stuff that like usually I cut the stuff wherein like we like have like a sort of like misorganization of that sort of thing where we just go did I skip this over there?
Hmm.
But I won't discount that my dislike of HC Loc, which I do have, may have played a factor in that. It may have. I can't say.
Why have you disliked him so much? I know he hasn't done anything particularly good until now, but like you just are you still are you like really holding it against him that he cost Zandig the ownership of CCW?
I mean, wouldn't you agree that's a heinous act for someone to do? To just
It,
count
it
it
was it
standing?
was quite
And
heinous, but he never went back to
yeah, because they fired his ass. Rightfully so.
well
Yeah.
I
Sheriff Lovely down the
I just
law.
think that this was I think that this is a very good match. This was my MOTN.
What did you think of it? Like, when they would be like, "Oh, this Belcast brawl. Ah, there's not gonna be any handshakes here. We just want to see blood." Like, does it not seem very contradictory to you? The whole thing.
In a sense, yeah, I do feel like it's something that they start saying that the code of honor stops applying when there's like a blood feud involved or something like that. It's kind of dumb, but it's whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
It's whatever
sure.
because we're gonna get a nice brawl now. Homicide, right? He recently did a ICW New York show where he came out in the Natural Born Sinner's gear and he
Yes.
just fought the shit out of this guy, Casanova Valentine. It was amazing, and this was a good tribute to this time. We see lots of forking around from Homicide in this match.
We definitely do. Yeah. Honestly, like if like we're gonna see like the cards crew like ROH style matches, they like I don't know why they're really in this promotion because like this is the sort of thing that they ought to be doing at least like this sort of like brawl where you can just walk around and like flap each other stuff and it's cool. It just feels as if like the implication of a continued participation in Ring of Honor is that they're going to do other stuff that like would like be like we have to see like DeVito like try and like do these fucking like we have to see DeVito do stuff that evidently makes the crowd hate him, you know. And it's crazy to me, like that they wouldn't just be doing this match.
Yeah, I think they are going to do more of these. Well, they're definitely going to do more of these matches down the line, and
Sure.
it's their forte. You could say they belong in the sort of wrong company. They seem like a CZW ready act or whatever. But yeah, it had some fucking much needed flavor to this show in particular.
Yeah, yeah. Like it's just weird how like both Carino and Donnie they like delight in it. It like it's just one of those things where like if only the fucking like code version wasn't like so fucking like conscious of decision, where like you could just go like we shake hands, like we like to do it, we like to be polite, whatever. But instead it's just like, if you don't follow this code of honor, you're a sports entertainment baby. And so like then when they obviously depart it for like something that's very cool that can like go beyond it like a fucking like nice brawl featuring weapon and
Mm.
blood, then like them going, oh, this is cool. I love the Bloods because they don't want to like hurt their credibility. Obviously, it is cool. Like they just have to like go like I don't know. It's stupid. Like Boogaloo, like he like takes a chair to the guts of H.C. Look right now. It's one thing for Donny B to have never watched wrestling on tape, and so he doesn't know moves, right? But Donny B, something has happened to him where he doesn't know what words mean because he sees Boogaloo just like put like the chair like lightly into the gut of HC Loke so as to apply pressure to his tummy, and he just goes
Stubby.
Boogle It's stubby. My stubby here. Boogle. He goes, Boogle was taking that chair and actually disemboweling Luke.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened, man.
Oh man, it's fucked up. And you said something fucked up as well after this because there's barbed wire involved here, right? It's wrapped around
Yeah.
the turnbuckle. And soon DeVito decides, this is a meaningful part of the match is that he like detaches the barbed wire and like it gets used later on in a crucial way. So as he's doing this, Donnie B says, Steve, I was just saying to myself, I bet it's a matter of time before they introduce a handheld weapon into the match. I was thinking that myself, Donnie B. Like, how are we on the same brain wavelength like that? It's crazy, isn't it? Wow.
I like the bit where Donny B, he starts off saying homicide before pausing. He pauses mid-sentence and switches to homicide. It's amazing.
Homicide. Oh, Jesus.
So
Yeah,
homicide, his performance, especially in this match, is really good. He hacks away at DeVito's head with forks, sending blood splattering into the camera lens. There's a nice little dot of blood on the camera for most of this match.
Yeah. That's quite nice, yeah.
Yeah.
I like how he does a tope that kills that guardrail.
Oh, yes. Yeah, the Tope con Hilo never fails. I mean, it might have kind of failed for him there because he mostly just killed himself, but I had fun, so it never fails.
Yeah, it never fails in the way that's most important.
Yes, exactly. Carino actually says something like quite good, saying his boss at 01 had inquired about Homicide, who was doing Big Japan, and had apparently already got a reputation as one of the most violent foreigners in Japan.
Yeah, that was quite nice. I also liked Carino putting over Loke because he says that Loke was in ECW and he would have fought Loke and, put like 56 stitches in his head. And he's not talking about like the like pussy stitches, he's talking about real stitches that he put in his head. And, basically he's putting over Heat Loke by saying, I beat him up.
DeVito, this would be the first time he's impressed for sure, because he sends some Ian Rotten-esque chair shots into Homicide's head. Like 3 in a row. It's pretty mad.
Yeah.
Donny B, he's still using the phrase precious life plasma when referring to blood.
It's a plasma of life and he's losing it.
The plasma of life. That blood. You know the plasma? Or the...
We plasming?
We plasmin, bro. There's no doubt about it. We're plasmin.
Oh man, DeVito. It seems like the crowd likes him now, simply because he's doing stuff that he's good at. It's a crazy concept, but Gabe's happened upon it.
Even stopped Gabe.
Even stop Gabe is right twice. That's one of the fucked up things about Gabe. Is like, I've never watched those short interviews of his. I probably will in the future, just like for research purposes. But he would have probably just like gone on and on about like, oh, Paulie back in ECW, we were friends, that's why I call him Paulie. And Paulie back in ECW, he used to like book people to their strength, 911. I just like said that guy, hey, you can do a choke slam, just do a choke slam. Hey, your task, you do submissions, let's do submissions. Oh, you just gotta book people to their strengths. And then he doesn't do that in Ring of Honor. What's with that?
It's a fucking disgrace, Connor.
It is. Fuck.
But this match isn't, because it's good. There's a cowbell introduced, which sounds good when it's conked against someone's head. It's like, Kong!
Yeah. It's like done. It's done with a lot of like volume to it.
Yeah.
I was recently educated on the concept of volume. Did you know?
Way now.
Well, because in Wham's King of Deathmatch, there was also the use of the water cooler that was put on a stick, and we
Nice.
came to the group conclusion that such a thing wouldn't particularly hurt. However, Bucky, he says that like it would hurt because like he's been hit by one before, and Siobhan also said that it would hurt a lot, and they said that like she said that I need to be taught about volume, and I was like, what? My audio editing skills not up to par. She was like, no,
fuck these
about
two, man. Fuck these two. Hit me in the head with a fucking empty plastic bottle right now. I'll come through murking. That's what I'm saying. I can take it. I can take it. I'm ready for it.
But all I gotta say is I got a no award in physics in secondary school. What do you expect of me?
Physics was my best subject in school. I didn't have many that I was actually like competent at, but oh yeah, I know what I'm talking about here. Being hit in the head with things.
Man. Oh boy. The barbed wire that was so crucial. The handheld weapon that got introduced into the match just after Donnie B thought, oh boy, I hope they introduce a handheld weapon into the match. It comes into play because, turns out that it gets into the hands of one of the sinners who gets the veto in the ring, and he decides, I'm going to do a camel clutch, except with, instead of my hands, I'll use barbed wire across the face of DeVito. And so he just gets it right into its mouth, the corners of his mouth, and man, it's crazy shit, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty great match. I did tell you Carnage Crew get pretty good. Like, they get pretty passable. You might have to let go of that grudge you got against like, because I know what you did was disgraceful, right? It was dishonourable for one. But, you just gotta let it go. He's gonna do some cool rules now. And
Hey!
he's gonna have a gimmick where he hates his wife, which I know it doesn't sound good, but it's funny.
Listen, you just get back to me when he finally does a damn code of honor, okay?
Hey, fuck the code of honor. That's what
No!
I'm saying. Yeah, that's right. I said it. I don't care what you think, Angry Gabe.
The position I'm in the world right now, it's the back, and I'm a boy. You got heat with me.
Oh no, not the boys in the back.
That's right. I'm legend.
Fuck. Alright, I take it back. The code of honor is my life.
That's better.
Holy shit, is that what it sounds like?
Oh, I might need to work on my happy game.
Yeah, the thing is with that is you're doing an impression of me doing an impression of Gabe, basically. It's nothing like Gabe's post, I'll admit it. I'll finally admit it.
What?
No, actually,
Are you kidding me?
It was perfect. It
Ah,
was perfect, Gabe.
perfect game. Come picky game. Anyway, this okay. So the match ends with this. DeVito, he has no choice but to tap out, and the Sooners win. It's funny. Correct me if I'm wrong. With it maybe happened to Bryan versus Loki or whatever. Is there ever a match where the crowd afterwards just turns ROH?
It might have happened for the main event, actually. Might have happened for the main event.
Right, yeah, now I think about it, probably did. This point doesn't hinge on this being the first time of it, but just in case. But this match happens that it's completely without honor. It's a death match, right? And then everyone just ROH, we love Ring of Honor, and it's just and it's fucked up how deep we are in this, how deep we are in engaging Gabe Sapolsky in good faith, his ideas and his philosophies, because just with how much fucking shit he's done here with the code of honor, you'd think that on some level he'd be like, no guys, no, this isn't Ring of Honor, no, but
I think down the line he's going to call these kinds of matches fights without honor. That's what he's going to do, isn't it?
oh, you don't want a hijack here, so oh well. But yeah, this was a good match, and then obviously the Carnage crew, they take issue with this because, it's not even a bit of victory. They just want to beat up the sinners and perhaps murder them.
Yes.
Fortunately, the hit squad come out to save natural born sinners. Last show they like weren't getting along too much, but like here they are like helping their buddies along, like they help them get up, and then oh no, Holmes is like, I don't need your help.
Yeah, he
It's like,
takes major offence from being saved from having his head caved in.
I'm starting to think of Homicide. He's just a bit of a sensitive guy. I was like, at the start of the show, Tony Long just like says, first of all, it just goes, oh, and then like now, like he tries to get like helped up, and it's like the hit squad, they're just not having it. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. It appears that stuff is a brewing dissension in these ranks.
Fucking hell.
Fucking hell, indeed. Speaking of fucking hell. It's Spanky.
Spanky. He starts doing a promo. As he starts to do this, the King of 2001, Scoot Andrews, walks past with a fizzy drink. Maybe that's why you're the King of 2001 and not 2002, Scoot. Too much pop.
He may be the King of 2001, but he's sure not the King of his dental office.
Why don't you drink some fruit juice instead of that Dr. Pepper material that you've got there, Scoot?
Recently I was in Greg's, right?
Yeah.
And I decided I always get the oval bite. The oval
Fucking
bite they
vegan
got.
sausage, what are you talking about? Sausage made from
As
fucking
always.
pigs, mate, not veggies.
Fuck. Like I'm not gonna tell two Greg stories at once. I'm just gonna stick with this one. But okay, so I got an oval bite and also a sausage roll. I got a sausage roll just because it was there, And then I went up to the lady at the counter and she was like, "Hey, do you want a drink also? It's only 6p more after the meal deal." And I was like, "No, that's okay." And then after that, she sort of looked at me differently, She was like, "You shouldn't." And, I'm on a training course, man. I just went, "Yeah, I'm a student." And she started, like, leveling with me, like, "Look, I'm just telling you, if you go get a soft drink now, it's 6p you're saving, I'm just looking out for you." So I thought, okay, I'll just go get a Dr. Pepper now. and Eva, that Dr. Pepper was agony. I've not drank a fizzy drink in like months. It was like a son of a bitch to get down.
Yeah,
So that lady, she bamboozled me.
I'm drinking whiskey and Dr. Pepper right now, so you're talking to
Wow.
the wrong person if you want backing up on your Dr. Pepper on your crusade against Dr. Pepper.
Anyway, Scoot Andrews, he's the source of all this fucking pain.
I wouldn't have need asking twice to get that drink on the meal deal. Come on. It's the meal deal. Come on.
I know, but I had water in my bag.
Well, everyone's got
Anyway.
water in their bag these days. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Anyway, this is also a subject that we're going to become adversarial over. So, this Spanky promo, he's just like, "Hey, Spanky's not got anything. American Dragon, he's got skills, and Doug Williams, he's got British style." But then he goes like, "Oh, well, I have Slicebread number 2, and also I'm speedy and technical and cute," and he just like lists a bunch of stuff that he does have. So his whole promo is based off like a thing that he thoroughly destroys. Anyway, then we get to this segment here that follows. Who are the two people that one of them's in a wheelchair, the other is pushing him along?
That's the Boogie Nights, I believe.
Ah, it's true, the Boogie Nights. No
Yeah.
longer called that.
Yeah, Danny Drake, he has a neck brace and is in a wheelchair. Mike Tobin is very concerned about being booked in a six-man.
Yeah,
And,
that's 6 man. Wow.
everybody's favourite,
Not really.
Rob Feinstein. He shows up and welcomes Tobin. And two guys, they go to assist Danny Drake down the stairs. And they're Tobin's partners. It's Don E. Marcos.
Donny Marcos, the Ring Crew Express, unbelievable. They're gonna be in trios action later on. I look forward to that match, which will definitely be watchable.
Of course it will.
Of course
This
it
is
will.
Ring of Honor.
I can't wait to hear what Steve Carino and Donny B have to say about it.
Me too.
Anyway,
But for now, we'll just have to wait. Because we have an elimination match for the NWA TNA X title. Holy shit.
holy shit, it's right.
The current champion, AJ Styles, faces off against Adam Jacobs and David Young.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, how serendipitous it is that we covered AJ winning the X title on the comp show, and now he's here making a defense of it. What an honor it is for Ring of Honor to behold this, an NWA title match in a place that's not particularly NWA. Cool. Good stuff.
Absolutely. We can get another sort of preview vid for this match. And it's relapse time.
Hell yeah.
Sounds like some putrid pile to me, but it could be some crippled bastards. Or perhaps a bit of classic rotten Christ.
Well, if you're a discerning metal fan like us, you'll be able to know yourselves.
Absolutely.
David Young and Adam Jacobs. What do you think of these two fine young athletes?
I vaguely remember David Young from TNA when I watched it, like 2004 to 2006. But although he probably would have just been around in 04 and 05, I think. He was in Diamonds in the Rough with Simon Diamond and Elix Skipper. He was
Oh shit.
he was a guy. He was a guy. I believe people liked his Spinebuster, and we see that he does do quite a nice Spinebuster. As for Adam Jacobs, he's just a fucking anybody, who knows? Anybody's guess. Adam Jacobs.
It's fucked up a bit, that guy, because I saw him and I saw this match and I was sort of like, he ain't all that. But then I gotta look at his ass. It says on there, all that. So it's like, oh fuck. I might be mistaken. Oh.
That ass is all that.
Yeah, it's unclear as to whether it's speaking to the general presence of Adam Jacobs or it's just his just his fucking fine ass that just won't quit. God damn. Wow. I thought I had my type established just with Jim Fanny. I thought I was into the mature types, but damn, a young twig like that's all that. Oh boy.
Very early on, Adam Jacobs does a very shitty neck breaker and gets booed.
Yes, he does. And
I
then after this, there's okay. So AJ does that SIE DDT does. He does it here to two people.
Yeah.
And it's funny to think about just today there's a discussion going on about hyperbolic stuff about people like Okada or something like that. And one of the things that stuck out to me was the whole thing of his prime is in 5 years, where they're going wow, he's so good and he's gonna get better and all that, right? But it's tangible to me to see that I know that soon that in a couple of years he will do that way smoother than he does it here. He'll just have a real snap to it.
I believe he still does it to this day. I'm not watching much fucking... I don't even know whether he's on Raw or SmackDown or whatever, but...
I remember he did it against Kofi Kingston in 2016, so...
He still does it. Sometimes he pulls it off absolutely perfectly and it gets the desired reaction. Sometimes he has to move his arm a little bit.
yeah.
I feel like it's always been like that.
I suppose,
if he's doing that on TV, he's probably hitting maybe 2 out of 3 proper as he wants. Occasionally, it's still gonna need a bit of adjustment, but he's never taken it out of his moveset, I don't believe.
No, I don't think he would have. I just suppose that like there being two victims to like Hook would probably impact it a little bit. Anyhow, then he does like so he goes up top, right, and he does like this thing that like Donny B says it's an unbelievable move by AJ Styles. I've never seen anything like it. And you know what, Eva? I've never seen anything like it either because I wasn't looking at the screen. QI was on the telly, and I was looking at that. The subject was they were looking for animals that start with Q, their names, and you know what he came up with? Came up with quail.
Wow.
Yeah. I fucking hate QI, it's a shit show. Anyway. This is an elimination match, so obviously eliminations must occur. David Young, he's the first to get on the chopping block because he gets spinal tapped to death. Do you remember what Donny B decides to call this thing?
He calls it a thingamajiggy.
A thingamajiggy.
Why don't you ask what it is called, Donny B? Like how hard could it be to figure? He's had months. He said he's been here since the third show. We're now on the fifth, sixth Ring of Honor show.
Yeah,
Right?
the fifth. Yeah.
You've had time to establish what this move is with AJ Styles, I believe, but he doesn't care.
Like this is just gonna be like one of like Donnie's fucking rules, isn't it? Like like he's gonna like, oh, I don't watch any wrestling on tape. I don't talk to people. Just like, oh, what a fucking inscrutable man. So after this, when it's just down to Adam Jacobs, like they hype it up to like oh, in recent times in NWA Wildside, these two had a cage match for the NWA Wildside title that Adam Jacobs won. So AJ Styles, he like needs the revenge. There comes the point where like he attempts to go for the Styles clash, right? And you can like say your piece as to how like the nature of this, but I think it's like he gets Adam in position for this Styles clash, right? And Adam's head is just like impossibly like the wrong way, like he's just like completely like bent over, like he's touching the ground fully. And what I think happens is that AJ from here he decides I can't very well do the Styles clash, so I will just turn this into a Styles crab, and he torques the legs. Now, do you think that was him just like being on the fly, or do you think this was planned?
It's a possibility that he adjusted on the fly. I remember when AJ Styles hit that move on James Ellsworth, and James
that's
Ellsworth,
right.
because obviously a lot of moves that you take as a wrestler, you sort of tuck your head forward to avoid your head clattering with the mat. But obviously when you're taking a front bump, tucking your head forward becomes very dangerous.
Yes, it's counterintuitive.
Possibly a bit of that going on, and he adjusted quicker than he did for James Ellsworth, who he nearly killed on that day. And if he'd have killed him, then that's fine by me. But he didn't.
Yeah, that's funny because like I remember like being around when that happened, and it felt like if you were to be one of those types who like analyzes wrestling and be like 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 you could like wrestle a real safe match with Kane, like that. Like, if you were to be like that sort of person, then that's something you could point to like, wow, look how like much of a ring general AJ is. Like he realized that like James Ellsworth was about to die, and like he like prematurely stops like his fucking like trajectory, and like went on his hands and like feet and all that. It's crazy. It was crazy. Anyway, after this like Styles crab, then he just like hits the Styles clash off the ropes, and then he wins.
Yeah. Donny B says that was a beautiful match. It was tolerable at best. Donald.
Donald.
Donald B.
Wait, what's B short for? Oh, that's right. Bitch. Donald bitch.
Donald
Wow.
bitch. That's his name.
Amazing.
That's his birth name.
Donald's bitch. Yes, it's his birth name. He's been birthed, and that's his name. Now that he's been birthed, he's able to witness this next segment in person because the ring announcer, he's hyping up the crowd for the next time they're in Philly. They're saying a bunch of shit about how, like, these matches are happening, and like, we've already got this booked. Oh, you're not excited for that. And then it said that September is when the show's happened, and that'll see the debut of, what is this? The king of old school, Stephen Carino, is debuting in Ring of Honor.
Wow. Yeah,
And then Donnie.
he's gonna have a match with Rudy Boy.
Yes, he is. Yeah. Donnie just goes, I can't believe you're leaving my side. I think you can believe it, Donnie. And so
Yes.
Rudy Boy's there. Like, he's.
He gets on the stick. He says he's heard what Karina has been saying on commentary, and he's gonna kick his ass. My hero.
Well, it's a bit more than that, actually, because he says that he wants to kick his ass, right? But he knows someone who will kick his ass. And so he books Carino versus American Dragon.
You excited for those matches?
No.
Well, they don't happen.
What?
They do not happen. Carino will face Rudy Boy the next month, but clearly had commitments elsewhere for that September show.
What the
There's
fuck?
no Carino American Dragon match ever.
I liked the Rudy Boy promo because, he just, is straight to the point about wanting to, kick this guy's ass. And, also your one-line impression of him is I don't know where she's went. And I also like that he, calls it the same person that, the FBI are calling out. I don't know who they could possibly be. They might be a Danish author of some kind, but he just calls it Foist of All,
He's turned into James Maritate. First of all.
Foist of All, it's called Strong Style. They're right there, that's King's Road mixed with U Style. Anyway, then we get to a match that's, perhaps you've already forgotten about it because of the memorable nature of the segments in between. But here it is, Mike Tobin and the Ring Crew Express, accompanied by the other Brigade Knight versus Black Gourd Man Jr., Brian XL, and Dixie.
Yeah, okay, so it's crucial that I read out my thought process as I wrote it while watching this.
Yes.
So first of all, I say the text on the vid for some reason reads, "MT Mike Tobin, is he a mountain?"
It's Mike Tobin. Oh.
And the preview vid is set to some of that brutal fucking relapse cyber grind before cutting immediately to some hard stuff. And then I say, wait, they're just spoiling every spot in this match in this preview vid. And then I say, haha, fuck. It's not a preview vid. Gabe just clipped the fuck out of this match and put some dance music over it. Fucking genius. It cuts to the unlikely team of Dunn, Marcos, E. Tobin celebrating their victory. Well, we were there for every moment of their journey. We saw their meeting and their initial struggles to get along. We've cried with them and cheered on their hard work. And it's all led to this.
Wow.
It's all led to this transcendent moment,
I really like that you felt oh, this PV vid is getting kind of long.
Yeah. That's exactly what I thought. I was like, oh, they're just doing every big spot here. Oh, The whole
Wow.
thing is a preview video. Fuck.
Jesus Christ, yeah. Like
Maybe this is
I
how matches should be absorbed from now on. Like, we just see the highlights over some fucking hard techno.
yeah, like I'm not sure what like informs the decision to make this like very clipped. Maybe it was time constraints, but I just like
It was either time constraints or Gabe knew that this match was fucking terrible and there was bits that he didn't want to show.
well, what's making him not realize that about every other match?
Because he's Gabe.
He's Gabe.
He's Gabe, guys. We obviously see this transcendent moment where a team of underdogs win. Crowd looks very fucking bored, by the way.
Wow.
But here comes unidentifiable black man with dreadlocks, according to Johnny B.
Oh yeah. I don't know who this guy is, but he's making an impact tonight here in Ring of Honor by chokeslamming the Ring Crew Express and also Mike Tobin. He chokeslammed the whole mountain. Can you believe it?
He chokeslammed a mountain. Holy shit, this guy must be the best wrestler of all time.
You better believe it. I don't know what this guy's motivations are. But all I know is I'm going to be tuned in to the next Ring of Honor show.
Because you have to.
Now, thankfully, this is a segment, and thus you can't go and tell me that this guy never appears again in Ring of Honor, because like so now I'll just be like left in suspense of like, oh boy, hope that choke slamming guy comes up again, and like he's a veritable Godot.
I think he will turn up again. I believe his name's Slugger. I think
Slugger. Oh,
Slugger.
you
I believe
like
that's his
you
name.
like baseball?
I don't fucking know. You can't ask me a question about baseball. I come from East Anglia. Nobody watches baseball in East Anglia.
Anyway, this match it like fucking amazed me that Gabe would do this. I realized as soon as like it just showed like the match like with like trance music playing, it's like, oh, he just like puts into a fucking digest. Like this match isn't good enough for sound. It's not good enough for anything like that. It was just crazy. Like it's sad too because like Brian Excel, befitting his like status as top heel, he had a new stable around him, and a new like group of cronies. One of their names is Black Lord Man Jr. That seems like it'd be a good time, but unfortunately, this match where the Ultimate like dissolve because like Brian Excel and like some other guy, they just leave the other some other guy to just die. It's crazy, but Gabe thinks
This got billed as well.
this got billed. Why did you include the segment if you were just gonna do this to the match? Okay.
Gabe, come on, man. You gotta sort it out.
Oh, then we can move on from this. Boston Massacre. It's going down even, isn't it?
It certainly is. Honor invades Boston. Will be coming soon. DeVito, he's making sure that we know that shit.
Yeah, they're gonna face Hit Squad.
That's correct.
That's correct.
2 points to you. Two honor
minus
points.
1 point, and minus 1 point to you for.
You're giving me a minus point? What the fuck?
Well, I've just followed my example of Grim Sapolsky. Anyway,
Damn it.
the king of what?
2001. Scoot Andrews representing against Xavier.
Degenerate. The king of 2001, what? The king of 2001, oh! So, Scoot Andrews. Dr. Pepper aficionado himself. He has asked for another match with Xavier. Now, the main point of
We were all
contention.
dying to see it.
We're all dying to see it. And you know why? It's because we know and Scoot knows, and Xavier knows, and Gabe knows as well that stuff is unresolved. You see, in their first match,
Nothing has
Scoot
been
Andrews, Scoot Andrews, he hit the force of nature on Xavier, but Xavier got in the ropes and thus caused a rope break, and then Scoot lost the match. And then they met again in a triple threat with James Maritato, and Maritato was involved in the decision, and thus Scoot once again hit this defeat evaded him. And so now he's thinking, hey, if I hit that forces of nature without any chicanery and whatnot, oh boy, that'll be a victory in the bag. And if it's not,
It's funny because my first note on this storyline, this whole story that Gabe's made is like, this is dry as rabbit shit, mate. Fucking bleak storytelling. Please give me some sports entertainment, Gabe. Some chicanery, please.
yeah, it's true. It's
A multiple month-long feud because a fucking guy got his foot under the ropes. Fuck off.
yeah, and it's just been eating
Just
away at
fuck off
Scoot this
with
whole
that shit.
time. Been eating away at him this whole time. It's crazy. And so that means that, if he thinks that he's got it in the bag if he hits that force of nature on Xavier, right? But if he doesn't, then he decides, okay, I've had enough, I'm leaving ROH.
Gabe, to give some credit to Gabe, he uses a song that I actually know and like a lot. It's Doom's Night by Azido Da Bass.
Wow.
You could probably throw that song at the start of the episode because it's probably 2002. You don't need to think too much about it. It's 2002.
You'll have to link me it because I would not be able to remember what you just said as far as the name goes.
Fine, I'll work on that right now.
Just went right in one ear, right in the other. I'm not no RYM person. Wow.
You're not a UK garage expert.
No, I live in a flat. I don't have a garage. Oh.
Yeah, Gabe actually used some UK tunage here. Like, it's quite unusual.
Yeah, I wonder where he got it from.
Me.
Who knows?
Me.
Oh.
He was looking at my ROA account 5 years before I even made it.
Gabe, I have to tell you about the future. And also, here's my favorite garage track.
Garage.
Yeah, garage. Going down to the garage.
What you
Fix
call
my wee
it?
car.
Garage.
Garage. It's my wee garage, Oh. Somehow when I impersonate my own dialect, I sound like the cake farts girl. Anyway, so yeah, Scoot, this is a turning point for him. He's not gonna stay in this company 1 second longer if he can't get this fucking thing resolved. So now, Scoot versus Xavier. I fucking hate how this match is edited. Don't you?
I'm just trying to remember the fucking thing. Oh, it's last week.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, of course. This is presented as like the fucking biggest match of Scoot's career, and it's just kind of tossed aside because it's very,
Yeah.
very heavily clipped.
It's not even that it's heavily clipped, because I'm fine with that. It's just that it's done in there's a way to do it where you pick a certain point with which to cut. It might not be seamless, but it'll be okay enough, where you won't just get disoriented with fucking every 5 seconds, and but it's just not done here. Every single time it cuts, it always just a fade in, fade out, like a crossfade rather, and it's just so fucking frequent. I don't know why, like, first off, I don't know like what the rationales behind the cuts themselves, and two, I don't know rationale behind what you keep in. You know, just like overall, it's just like fucking, I don't understand, and it like fucking pissed me off watching it. Just like it was terrible. Scoot, he's no longer like the fucking like benevolent king that we once knew. You know, even just last show, he was friend of Sumiya Sakai, and he seemed like an okay guy. But here, Xavier, he just sees red when he sees Xavier. You know, like he's just throwing him into the guardrails and going, huh? It's unpleasant. You know, why, Scoot? Why you gotta be so angry about this? Just like, come on, let's reminisce over 2001. I'll get the memory book out. It's okay.
I mean, I also don't mind clipped matches, but this totally feels like, why even tell the story and like do the conclusion to it here if you're just gonna fucking zip through it like this? It's like they told us this fucking wank fucking dry turkey story. It's like, oh, Xavier got his foot under the ropes. Oh yeah, brilliant. Fucking pro wrestling psychology, but fucking fabulous.
This is what makes pro wrestling great.
And it's fucked up because like, there's no way to gauge how good this match was in any way. Like Xavier bled in this. I mean, he cut his fucking forehead for this to be just sort of like cast aside. I know we got a long main event that's probably contributed to a couple of these matches being, majorly cut down. But it's just like, why even show us any of this if we're not to sort of buy into it completely,
There's definitely like a lot of stuff where if there is such a thing as like a like stuff that you want to like show in full, or stuff that is long enough, like that it kind of takes up a lot of stuff, you would show like the other matches that happened that are less important in like a digest, like you're just an overall package that maybe you show like before the main event or maybe the second last match, and it's quite simple. You just fucking like blast through stuff. This happened, that happened, like it's just easy to do. But it's like when you still give everything the honor of like, here's the like big like icky graphic for like this match, and we're gonna like hype up the story and make you care about this. But also we're not gonna actually like really show you the match. We're just gonna like I learned how to crossfade on Windows Movie Maker recently, so I'm just gonna show that off a little bit if you don't mind. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. I hate it.
Yeah, I mean, this match in full, there's a high chance that it was boring, but Scoot Andrews has as much right to be boring as Christopher Daniels does.
Yeah, it's true. He's our boy.
He's our boy. He's the boy of 2001. The crowd, they clearly aren't having a great time with this one. Before they give it a bit more credit when they do near falls and stuff. 4.25, 4.25 maybe. That's what I'm thinking.
Eva, I need you to like sort of like imagine you're like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, right? All that, right? And I'm the Chris Tarrant guy, right?
Yeah.
Currently it's Jeremy Clarkson, but I don't like that guy. Chris Tarrant, don't really like that guy either, but I don't know anything else. But so I'm asking the questions. Is the point, and I'm asking you, hey, how does this match end? This match is built around like this. I just finishing move. What happens in it? What goes on?
I don't know. I don't fucking know. I watched it last week. I just wrote Scoot wins.
Eva, come on then. What is the hate video about?
You expect me to retain information?
The whole match is about, I had the force of nature once and I was under the rope. Oh, if I had the force of nature this time, I'll get the win. He has the force of nature at once.
Oh, I feel so fulfilled now.
Yeah, me too.
We were on the edge of our seats every step it away for the King of 2001, and he finally does it. He
He finally does it.
He avenges his defeat from that match that we all definitely remembered and loved. Scoot, 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 scoot.
We'll we'll stop this broadcast to go over to a live feed of Buckingham Palace where he won't get King of 2002, but the Queen will grant him Duke of 2002.
I thought you said Buckingham Palace.
Well,
Bucky owning a palace. Can you imagine what would happen? There's a sitcom waiting to happen, folks.
feel like this is my palace of ham. It's good that I have a cold. I can do Bucky voice better. So then we get on to this fucking catalyst behind the show being so terrible editing wise. And you know why? It's because it's time for the Iron Man match.
Yes. The first ever ROH title match. A 4-way Iron Man. Which is a very inspired decision. Of course, it's Spanky, Doug Williams, Christopher Daniels, and Loki.
Loki, yes.
So
tell me, what's the rules for this Iron Man match then? Explain them to me.
Fucking hell! All right, let me let me find where I've written this down. You get +2 points for scoring a pinfall. You get -1 if you are the one who was pinned. You get 0 if you if you're not involved in the pin at all. That's quite a vital aspect of this match.
You get 0 for non-participation.
Yes. So, first of all, Loki, he comes out to his sick theme. It must be said it's a very sick theme. He does Caveman SpongeBob, intense breath. Jogs to the ring like he's in 80s New Japan. And then he does a perfect roll over the top rope. He's the perfect wrestler. He's the perfect wrestler. But then we get cut down from this high of highs because Christopher Daniels comes out and he has a row of bowers for him. It sucks.
Yeah, it does suck. Then everyone gets their introductions and we are underway with this. So 2 points for victory and -1 point for defeat. Now, you would think that just like the base concept of 1 point for one fall, and the person with the most points at the end of the time limit wins. You'd think that's quite a simple concept, no reason to really mess with it. But guess what? You fucking baby! You fucking baby! You're fucking masturbating to WWE Breaking Ground. You fuck! Gabe knows better.
Gabe, the fucking galaxy brain is here to show you what to think. Alright, so first of all, like, what's your general sort of thought process for like watching Iron Man matches?
Usually, I'm not really much for them because I think that it can often come off like weird. As I like see like maybe like the EWAM's like Iron Man matches that we've seen, it feels like they'll have this idea of like, we're working along, so we'll be smart and just like, pace this out. And usually what that leads to is just like a bunch of stuff that like can be kind of middling, without much like, there wouldn't be this even if it wasn't a time limit thing, but like they don't have any hunger behind it, It doesn't feel as if like they're going for the kill or whatever. And then like it just comes to like fucking like a bunch of bullshit like as the time limit comes to like like an end, and it's literally just like going off like the for like base like thing of like, oh, are they gonna get the pin? Are they gonna get the pin? It doesn't feel compelling beyond that very basic thing. And I think there'll probably be like Iron Man matches that I would like. However, I think that the concept like isn't really done well. But one thing that I would have never have complained about
Have you seen
was
Rick Rude versus Ricky Steamboat?
I've not seen that, but I've heard about that match and specifically the way in which the finish is done.
Yeah, that's very good. My personal sort of thing on Iron Man matches is that I probably would have been less into them early on into my wrestling fandom, but I think nowadays when you watch any given show and there's a quite high likelihood that the main event is going to go quite long, at least with an Iron Man match, I know it's going to go a certain amount of time and I don't have to keep checking my fucking time left on the video like, Jesus, how long are these guys going to go? I know we've seen like ridiculous IWA Mid-South Iron Man matches where it's like either the falls completely don't matter at all or they're just completely miscounted by high as fuck Mark Wolf. But I'm kind of more comfortable with the idea of Iron Man matches these days. Like, at least I know what I'm getting.
I can understand that, sort of just like on a practicality basis. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Like,
I've seen a lot of bad ones. You know, like
sure.
fucking last year in WWE pay-per-views that got like it was Seth Rollins and was it Ziggler
versus Dolph Ziggler. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the main event of some random ass WWE pay-per-view, and bless them, the fans weren't having it at all.
And Seth Rollins got pissy about it. Oh.
Yeah, well, fuck you, Seth Rollins, you stupid bitch.
Wow.
What are you even doing these days? Nothing. Probably.
He's recruited Buddy Murphy into his cult, Eva.
He has a cult?
Yeah, he turned heel and he's with the Offers of Pain now. And he talks for 20 minutes.
Man, remember like...
and when
the Offers of Pain first became a thing in NXT, I remember thinking like, they'd be sick with Roman Reigns. No, I didn't think of the possibility of Seth Rollins.
Not at all. At all. But you know, they seem like an unstoppable force, right? But you know
these
who
powerful guys just being led by this guy who goes.
I'm done with the WWE universe. But okay, so these guys are a powerful force, right? They seem as if they are unstoppable. And you know, Kevin Owens, he's the babyface who was like, "Hey, I'm gonna give the fight to these people." You know, what he brought back in order to do this. He brought back the Big Show.
Well, well, it's the Big Show. It's a big bad show tonight.
Do you remember the Big Show rap theme?
I remember all the Big Show themes. Big Show rap theme.
Hell yeah.
I remember the acoustic version of his theme done by that band. Oh shit, what's the band called?
Oh, I can't remember actually. I just know that like they're with their new friends at WWE.
Let me just say Big Show theme. Crank it up.
Yeah, let's do it.
Crank
it up.
Crank
Turn on them lights.
Big Show theme, acoustic. Brand New Sin, that's the band.
Brand New Sin.
Credit to you guys for what you fucking did, for what you sacrificed to the world of music.
They just like put like so much like oomph behind like not just the lyrics but also like, you know, the sort of ad-lib stuff, you know, like, you know, they just go it's like, you know, you'll put shit behind it, you know, it's great. So the Big Show. I love the Big Show. Really good wrestler.
Big Show is pretty sick.
Yeah. Back in 2009, I got back into wrestling, and he was partner of Chris Jericho, right? And they were tag champions, and I was like, wow, I love Jericho. And then he lost the titles to DX. I was like, no, don't break up because they're on different brands, right? So Big Show, like he was on Raw and Jericho's back, then they couldn't team anymore, and so it was like Jericho's like, oh, I got a rematch for us, ha ha ha, and then he lost it, and after that they broke up. I was like, no, I hate this.
Oh no.
Oh, anyway.
Did Jericho have one of those themes where it's just like their themes like glued together?
Well, okay, I can tell you. I can tell you the complete history of Jericho themes. Okay, so
Okay.
their first theme, they used it only for like a couple weeks, but it was memorable enough, and its fuses to stay in our minds. Was that it was like, "Where," and while that first going, yeah, you know what gets you, yeah. Break the walls down, and like it's a big, 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 big.
That's such a classic WWE mashed together tag team staple.
Yeah.
I think the first one I would have experienced is when Booker T and Rob Van Dam were randomly tagging in 2004. This is like
Yes.
one of a kind. Can you dig it? And then the most recent example would probably be Kairi Sane and Asuka. It's just fucking, it's ridiculous. Those two tunes don't sound alike, but they're trying to glue
Yeah,
them together. It's ridiculous.
it's just 10 seconds of each, like, and we
Yeah.
take turns. But then, like, after that, they, like, got, like, this professionally done, like, theme where it's, like, uh, thinking about it, like, it's a good song, and that means that, like, relative to, like, break, it's, like, not as memorable. You know what I mean? Like, it was just there as a nice theme. Oh, Jericho.
Jericho.
Fuck. I miss him. Iron Man match.
Iron Man match. I remembered enjoying this match quite a lot when I watched it in 2015. I must admit, going into this, it sounded a bit fucking galaxy brain, I must admit.
Yeah. I fucking despise these rules. Like,
Even without the rules, a four-way Iron Man match, it's not something that's been done since that I can remember. It's Gabe just being the ultimate galaxy brain genius.
yeah, it's a bit fucking foolish. Like, just as soon as I heard, like, the -1 for defeat and those 2 points for a win, I just, like, fuck off. And then you explained the code of honor, and I was like, fuck off. And then Stephen Carino, he regarded the Iron Man rules, and he said, I was 2 points for the win, and -1 for defeat. You gotta be careful with your pins. It's a thinking match for the Iron match. I was like, fuck you. I hated it. I hated it.
Yeah, and I totally get why this time around. I didn't hate this match, but it was just kind of well. Let's get into the parts of it. Daniels, he wants no part of Loki.
That's right. You know how it can be made so that he gets no part of Loki? It's because there's two people in the ring, and the other two people, they're on the apron. It's a tag rules for the Iron Man match.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at least it's a four-way. I'm surprised Gab. I just called him Gab.
Gabber Sapolsky.
Gabba Sapolsky. You should cut in some Gabba at this point.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine if this actually was like a fucking like tag match?
I mean, I wouldn't put it past the motherfucker.
Too true.
Yeah,
So Christopher
this is a
Daniels.
conflicting match because it has Loki in it, so it's only going to get so bad. And it also has Doug
Right.
Williams in it, who's awesome. Doug and Loki, they start off and it's nice. I feel like everything that Doug and Loki pull off together in this match makes me think like, damn, I really want to see those two against each other. And I looked it up on Cage Match. And do you know the only place where they've had a one-on-one singles match?
Where is it?
Well, it is Vixville. You want the goods? You better go to vixvillenow.com, bitch. Because that's that's the only place that shit's gonna be online.
Striga.
Striga!
Storiga. FixFit booking Doug Williams versus Loki. That's pretty cool, actually. So what year was that?
2005.
No, that's a good year. Just generally.
It is.
Um,
That probably is my favorite wrestling year. Because obviously, I would say my two favorite matches of all time are in 2005. The Necro versus Joe, and
yeah.
the Masato Tanaka versus Michael Awesome from ECW One Night Stand. Just unconquerable, I think, at this point. It's not
Yeah.
gonna be topped.
Yeah, that's a compelling argument for it.
Two matches to sum up my taste.
I like 2005 too because I would be watching it at the time and I'll be like, oh no, Randy Orton feuding with the Undertaker. Oh, I hope he beats him, and then he did beat him.
Undertaker's streak. It gets talked about a lot, obviously, but yeah, I think that was the match, WrestleMania 21. That was the first match where they kind of made a big deal of Undertaker always winning at WrestleMania, and
Yeah, it was sort of because
it made for a match that I think a lot of people sort of overlook with Randy Orton.
I know that in WrestleManias before that they would have sort of offhandedly remarked that Undertaker's never lost to WrestleMania. But it wasn't until he was with Randy Orton, yeah, that because at the time Randy Orton was the legend killer. He was making a big deal of killing legends and whatnot, as the name suggests. And so they kind of made that part of it. It's oh, I'm gonna snuff out this legacy you have, Undertaker. And then Undertaker responded by oh boy, the mind games that Undertaker would get up to with Randy Orton. It would just be his dad would be there, Bob Orton, and he'd turn the lights out, turn them back on. Oh no, what's this? Bob Orton is covered in blood, and Randy's oh no, but Bob would be what's wrong, son? Because hey, that's just in Randy's mind. Oh my god.
Wasn't there a thing that came out Bob Orton had hepatitis or some shit?
Yes, because at Armageddon 2005, they had the feud blow off in a Hell in a Cell, and that featured, because Bob Orton, he was a sneaky son of a bitch during that feud. He was helping his son, attack the Undertaker under false pretenses and whatnot, and in the Hell in a Cell match, he gets, Undertaker gets payback because he takes Bob Orton by his shirt, and he, slams him against the cell and causes him to bleed, right? And he bleeds onto the Undertaker. Then it comes afterwards that he has hip, and so Undertaker he doesn't like getting hip. So Bob Orton is
Say what you will about the Undertaker, he doesn't like that hip.
Oh man, so yeah, 2005, what a fucking year. And now I learned that Loki versus Doug Williams happened. We're gonna have to watch that.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll find another excuse to fit some other kind of low-key compilation in.
Yeah.
And we can watch that. So, one of my main memories of this match, the match we're actually fucking covering, was that everyone was really sweaty from really early on. Because it seems humid as fuck in there, and this match seems quite grueling as a result. I suppose that adds to the appeal of the match. I needed something to cling on to for this 60 minutes,
Yeah, they make a big point of it being 90 degrees in there. They made the same point last show, if you remember too. During AJ Styles versus Daniel, it's oh, it's hot in here. That's going to impact how AJ Styles works because he's from the South Pole, and factor into the match in kind of way. It's strange how they kind of explain the code of honor again, right? And in doing so, they say that like we're trying to be a sport here, we're not sports entertainment. To in a sense, Steve Corino notes that there are no cartoon-like antics in Ring of Honor, right? Now, what this strikes me as is that Gabe, someone started bullying him for saying chicanery, so he came up with a synonym for it. Oh. And if so, then
I just
that's
wish
quite
it could
nice.
have been me. But unfortunately, it wasn't.
Unfortunately, Donnie B, like he makes the point that like Loki and Daniels, if they get in there, sparks are gonna fly, and like Daniels gonna do anything. Like he's even gonna like be into dismembering Loki if necessary. I don't know where Donnie B got his like fucking like words for lethal like attacks from, but he's just not using them right. And then like the first like exchange of points happens when Daniels like Loki has gotten beaten up by everyone, and then Daniels hits the damn crossroads on him, gets the 2 points. Loki at -1. Oh no.
Were you also sort of thinking on what I was thinking is that right, so I thought they had Daniels avoid Loki longer before Loki he goes fucking Loki on him after a tag, but that doesn't really happen. Their first interaction in this match, Daniels and Loki, it felt pretty normal after like
Yeah.
Loki tried to kill him on the last train.
Yeah, and they make a point of saying that on this show, like you tried to murder me, but then it's quite sporting, honestly.
Yeah, and at this point I just put, yeah, this is Galaxy Brain. I can get down with an Iron Man final to crown an inaugural champion, but why is there 4 people in this match? You son of a fucking bitch!
You son of a bitch. So after this, Donnie, he gets in the mind of every one of these folk. He's like, Spanky, he has to be thinking to himself, I need to get slice bread #2 off. And Christopher Daniels, he has to be thinking to himself, I need to get the Angel's Wings off. And Doug Williams, he has to be thinking to himself, I need to get the Chaos Fear off. Everyone has to think to himself here in this match. It's crazy. And one thing that Spanky does though is he gets into it with Doug, right? And Doug, he's very experienced in getting pinned, and so with Spanky, he will try to pin him down just with his arms, and like Doug will kick out one shoulder, the other shoulder, whole shebang. So Spanky has a strategy where he decides, my hands are not applying enough pressure to keep his shoulders down. So I think what I'll do is I will stand on his arms so as to he's not getting up from this one, and like this is stupid. It's fucking dumb as shit for him to do this because like Doug Williams, he has big arms. He just lifts the arms up and Spanky fucking trips. Like he could fall on his face, put his eye out and all that. But meanwhile, the whole time Steve Kerr's like, "Oh, that's a good strategy. That's a good strategy."
Yeah, Carino is obsessed with strategy during this match. He attempts to explain the ideal strategy for this match, and at this point, it feels like we've seen some good action. Loki is always great. Doug is also brilliant. Spanky is pretty great too at this time, and Daniels he's Daniels, but he's working with all these other guys. It should be an enjoyable thing, but I can't get fully into it because I feel like I should have a fucking calculator in my hand at all times.
Yeah.
It's fucking silly.
I remember there was like, in one of the Starcades, I think the 1991 one, it was like this round robin tournament that like had like, it wasn't just like 2 for a win and whatnot. It was like 3 for a win and like so much for like a time limit draw and all that. It was just a thing where, like the way they tried to explain it, like made I feel like as if they were coming from the position of like, oh, this is a very complicated system we've got here that we're very proud of for that very reason. So we're just gonna like dumb it down for you folk. you know, and like I don't know if like it's exactly the same, but just like the way in which they like emphasize strategy and like math, mathematics, it's just like it detracts from it honestly because this is a
Yeah.
very fucking simple concept that like could easily work if you just like shut up. But I like Donny B's like comments on strategy like after this because like Loki, who is -1 point, he like says like Loki right now he's just thinking I need points, I must score points.
I must, I must say, Loki's really helping us along. It's amazing what he can do to not only his opponent but his actual match. Like Daniels, he managed to counter Key's cartwheel corner kicks into a big old chop block, which
Yes, he does.
looks pretty great. Like probably genuinely the best thing I've ever seen Daniels do, like countering this move with chop block. He managed to pull it off before this in just a general sense. Nice chop block on the guy. Loki sold it really well. I'm assuming it's Loki's doing that makes it look really good.
Hmm. Sure. After like that big counter from the Daniels, then Loki he gets those points that he needs and must score because it's Doug Williams who gives him the chaos theory. He was thinking to himself and he used to get it off. Well, here it is, chaos theory, but he flips out of it, and in one swift motion, Spanky's behind. He doesn't know what's about to hit him. It's the key clutch. He hooks it onto the Spanky. Spanky taps. So now Loki has 1 point. Spanky has -1 point. Wow.
Yeah, we do
I
get
hate Ring of Honor.
me too, Connor, but we do get more proof that Loki versus Doug would be really amazing because we get Doug has Key stretched upside down across his back before running him into the turnbuckles repeatedly. I really like
Yeah.
that bit. I also liked when the crowd chanted "fallen asshole" at Christopher Daniels. They must have listened to our show.
Wow. Very possible. Very possible. Yeah, Doug versus Keith is a good combo, and also, like this combo leads to Key gets more points because he does a Phoenix Splash to Doug Williams, and he gets up to 3. Doug now is at -1 too.
We're loving this point system. We're loving it.
We're loving this point system. Recently I started playing the Silver Case. You ever heard of that game?
What game, sir?
The Silver Case.
Oh, I don't know it.
It's a game made by Suda51, that guy who like made No More Heroes and Killer 7 and all that. It's his visual novel, and Suda51 is a bit of a wrestling fan himself, so sometimes he'll pepper in stuff. Like it's a point where you, the character who is mute, you get like conducted into this like this part of the police, like heinous crimes unit, like you're detectives, and like so like you get put in this room, and like the stoic but well-meaning guy who like runs the whole place, everyone like thinks he's great. Like he just like sits you down. It's like, hey, we want you to join our unit. Okay, I think you got a potential kid, and then like being as you're mute, you like can't say anything, and so you don't say anything. You're just silent there, and then he just goes, right. Well, if you refuse, do a Phoenix Splash right now, and then you don't, so you're in. You're in, okay. Congratulations. So, so yeah, Loki, he refuses the heinous crimes unit. He does the Phoenix Splash to Doug Williams, gets those points, and now it's time for moves.
I like when Spanky misses a frog splash and Donny B says, "No water in the pond." People don't dive in ponds, you fucking buffoon.
Oh boy, Donny. Man, what if this is the last Donny B show and that's the last thing you ever say to him?
I'd be completely fine with that. but I know that we've got one more show left with him.
Oh, unbelievable. This. How did you feel about this, like in comparison to high stakes?
It's funny you brought that up because I kind of had a sort of similar thoughts of this. It's like there's parts of it that I like a lot. It's just really really galaxy brain. So much so that I struggle to say that I thought it was good.
On the other hand, I definitively like sort of put this as lower than high stakes because I think that high stakes it justified its length with like brutality and honesty. You know, as in like just like the whole thing where they're just like trying to pin each other for like the last fucking 20 minutes or whatever, and it just keeps getting broken up and getting more tired and more tired. Like it makes it works because like you just feel as if like they really are just tired, they really are just beat up and all that, right? And it just like feels quite visceral to watch it, especially following all the crazy shit they do. Meanwhile, here, this is just like a fucking like work rate match. Not only is it like less sustainable over 60 minutes, but also just like the whole thing of like being like really exhausted, but also you're gonna try like your fucking like complicated bullshit. It just like it can like fail to ring true sometimes, and this is definitely one of them. Just like yeah, like I definitely like do like sort of like go with your opinion of this and high stakes, where like there's stuff to be liked, but it's just like
Hmm.
it's probably shouldn't have been 60 minutes.
I think the high stakes match has more sort of charm to it because it's
Hmm.
Zandig thinking he's a genius. And it's quite funny, but that even though this match lacks that sort of charm, it does have fucking Loki in it, and it has lots of cool stuff that Loki does with Doug Williams, and yeah, I pretty much have those matches on the same sort of level. It's just like in a sense, there's a there's a great match to be found somewhere in there.
Hmm.
It's just so fucking over ambitious. It doesn't truly connect. But Loki is fucking Loki. He's gonna, he's had the best matches in Ring of Honor. From our perspective, from the Strigger Mortis perspective, like how often do we agree with the Strigger Mortis perspective? Not very often,
Damn.
but they're quite right in the Loki matches on Ring of Honor shows. These first 3 or 4 shows, it's always going to be the best thing. Although
Yeah.
here I say I preferred the Natural Born Sinners Carnage Crew match, just because of the nature of this match. It's just too much. It's
The streak is over.
the the streak is over with Loki, I'm afraid.
Well, what better fit for Brock Lesnar than DeVito?
Yeah,
Oh
that's
man.
a like for like replacement.
The thing that sort of finishes this match off is that it gets down to Key versus Daniels, and they do fucking finisher stealing things. Daniels, he tries to do the fucking like I can't remember what he named his crossroads. I'm just gonna call it crossroads. I do not care. He tries to do it, but then he does some freaking like counter shit. Wow, it's crazy. And then soon, like when he gets a hold again, he just says he's going to do the Dragon Sleeper, and that's like he kind of steals the key clutch because he does the full torque and all that too. So Loki, he's in this hold. He's very pained, and like he just starts like punching at Daniel's head, and like it seems as if like he might like just like die and just like submit that way, but then like he manages to reverse it and does like the crossroads himself, and then time runs out, so he wins.
Yeah, good for you, Loki. Well done.
Yeah.
There's just a couple of things that I'd like to make a little note of. Loki tries a fucking Phoenix Senton off the top, and then he fucking high Zayas himself,
Ah.
but manages to pin Doug anyway. For those not aware, high Zayaing yourself is when you nearly die from landing on your head after under rotating a top rope move. There's also another recently formed definition of Heizaring is when you Heizire someone else. And that's when you pull a knife on a guy during a wrestling angle. I think Awesome Khan did it recently.
I thought it could be done to either yourself or someone else.
So
Yeah,
yeah, he is now a verb.
yeah. That's a good look. See, I wonder what his modern matches are like.
Probably all right. I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
Anybody's guess.
Anyways, guess.
Just before the end of this match, commentary are doing the whole like, oh, it's anybody's ball game thing, but it's not really, is it? Because only Loki and Daniels have any fucking points on the board, and
Yeah.
this just kind of further solidifies. Like, I don't think they ever actually do like a big sort of Loki Daniels grudge match. So like, you could have done it.
Oh,
You could have done it here, not to advocate over Christopher Daniels over Doug Williams or something like that, but you could have just done that as the final here, I'm sure.
that really is an example of Gabe just like not committing to any bullshit he does. Like this universe is his own. He controls it, right? Like everything, like
He does.
all that you see is mine. That's the words of Gabe Sapolsky, right? And like he will do this shit. And when it comes to like paying off these storylines, paying off the thing that people like of like, oh my god, Loki, he attempted to murder Christopher Daniels. Who knows what it's going to be like next time they meet in the ring? And it's just like he fucking like decides to like at this crucial moment treat it like it's a fucking like late homework essay, you know? Like it says, oh, they're going the far way and he wins. You know, it's just like it's not conclusive at all. It doesn't feel fulfilling. Doesn't feel cathartic. You know, it's like
Yeah.
there's nothing to it.
After this match, the crowd's been into it. They mostly get sort of like really animated for spots and sequences involving Loki, which is understandable. They do chant "Match of the Year" after this match, and I just think,
Oh.
nah, it's not even not even Match of the Night. Fuck you, Match of the Year, nerds. Come on.
I would be a bit
Homicide.
more like
Homicide was fully realised on this show.
I would be a bit more modest about like my time frames. Like if it were me, I would have said match of the year, match of the year, because if you're talking about matches that happened in approximately 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on date of the show, oh, you'd be hard pressed to name anything other than this match. So
I really would.
yeah, exactly. That's why I chant it. Loki, he gets his big title. He like poses with it, lifts it up slowly, and then like he goes to the back, right? And this is great. It's because like he like falls down. He's very hurt and all that, so he gets like up on his feet, and it's just something that like I would have been aware of like for a long time. But like I think just like in the course of like seeing all these shows, I kind of like forgot about it. But like Russ Haas is dead. He died because like story would have been that he would have been taking steroids and like some air accident got in and like it just like killed him. And so it was a like really tragic thing. Like he was going to be like a real guy who was going to like go places and whatnot. And even just like in his prison and stuff of like like being like a JPW guy, obviously very loved. And so Loki, after like basically saying like oh, this is very hard and what, and he just says like it's for Russ, and then like he starts crying, and it's strange because like when he cries, like Loki just like betrays that he has a normal Brooklyn accent, doesn't he?
Yeah, it is quite unusual.
Yeah,
It's also a touching scene, touching
totally.
stuff. He's also able to joke with the people watching at home, saying they're lucky they've got ACs, that air conditioning. You're not wrong, Loki. I am lucky.
Yeah, I don't have air conditioning here. I just have a really cold climate.
Well,
But
you didn't think of that, did you, Loki?
I think it's a really like indelible visual, like to see like like Loki, he's like crying because like his friend is dead, and he just like did this thing that he considers like a meaningful tribute to him, and like the hit squad, they're just like, come on baby, chug some more, get some fluid in you, and like so he while crying just like fucking destroys this water ball, just like chucks it all down. I
Yeah.
was like, wow, Loki. So yeah, that was cool. And then after this, he is very tired, so his squad put him on his back like a wee lump sack and just like carry him away. Uh, so
It's
yeah,
very good.
after like, hey, I'll tell you about a genius. His name is Gabe Sapolsky, and I want to tell you about the latest genius task that he pulled off. Mark Briscoe, right? Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania, he can't work in it. He can't wrestle in it. He's underage.
Oh no.
It's illegal. But Ring of Honor is in Boston next time, and he can wrestle there. So Jay Briscoe is just like hanging out, brooding after his loss, which was caused by Brother. And then Mark Briscoe comes in, and he's just like barely even looking. He's like, "Come on, Jay, I'm out already." And then like Jay just goes nuts. He's like, "Ah!" And pisses him. And it's like, "What the hell's your problem?" And then like and then Mark he just goes, "Don't touch me, Jay. You lose your wrestling license." And then, like RJ is like, "Hey, what if we wrestled in Boston? Then we can wrestle and you'll wrestle me. We can get it sorted." And then Mark just goes, "Just lose again."
Yeah,
Oh,
and then he keeps making sort of weird, mischievous faces.
Mark being like rude is so cool.
Yeah, that's good. Did you say that
Yeah.
you'd
Uh,
seen this Briscoe's match before at some point?
no.
Okay, probably misremembering something then. Never mind.
I wish I could never make the last segment that we see in this show because I fucking hated it. I fucking hated this like last segment that comes up.
Yeah. Do you want me to read out my free notes on it? My free
You
lines
better.
and notes. Now we see Daniels in the back being a pussy ass little motherfucking biatch. He threatens the referee and has him against the wall. Surely Daniels would just not be booked from now on, right? Shit way to end
Ah,
the show. Shit way to end the show.
Daniels, he's with Simple Luscious, who is in that prophecy, as is foretold by him saying it. And it's interesting because, okay, Simply Luscious, when she was being smoochy buddies with Corino, she was just normal. And then, like, Christopher Daniels cut this promo with her where she seemed like she was, like, brainwashed by Christopher Daniels. She just seemed like she wasn't all there. And now here, she's just kind of also normal again. It's kind of strange. But anyway, Christopher Daniels, he's very stressed about like this whole thing. He's just like, oh no, I didn't win the Ring of Honor title. And like Simple Us, it's like, Christopher Daniels, it's not over. It's like, it's not over. It's not over. And like then he sees the referee for the contest pass by, and he grabs him. He puts him against the wall. What are you doing? Like why didn't I win the match? Loki never pinned me. Hey, what's going on here? And then the referee, he makes a big mistake. He just goes, I was just following the rules, Chris. I was just following the code of honor. And like, low key, he had the thing where if he hears Christopher Daniels' name, he's whoa. But then meanwhile, Christopher Daniels, if he hears like Cole, it's like, what'd you just say? What did you just say? Like he goes like similarly crazy. And man, this is some fucking like, oh, I watched Watchmen once and I wanna be like that. Like fucking like this bullshit is like just fucking garbage. I hate it. I hate this fucking like character that Christopher Daniels does. Like it's hackneyed, it's fucking bullshit. and like he just goes on and on with his talking. It's not charming at all. It's just like, and this referee, it's just like, he's meant to be scared for his life. Meanwhile, like Daniels just like keeps talking, and so like the referee, like his white eyes just like become kind of normalized because like you can't like maintain such like shock over like a fucking 2 minute monologue, and no, it was just terrible. I'm not looking forward to like future stuff featuring that prophecy. My last note is fuck off. I hated this show.
Don't know if I hated the show as much as you, but it certainly wasn't as enjoyable as a lot of the shows that we watch. But with Ring of Honor, we're almost rating on a different scale, I suppose. For me, it was less of a torturous viewing experience than a couple of other Ring of Honor shows. The undercard went by relatively quick to me, partly because they clipped the shit out of some of their matches. And even if there was some stupid shit, there was some good shit too. Like I liked the opener, and I liked the Natural Born Sinners, Big Brawl, Bunkhouse Brawl. The main, which is obviously a major part of the show since it takes up 60 minutes of it. It has too many glaring flaws that I can't forgive in this day and age. But it also had Loki in it, so it was able to keep my attention. So it could have been a lot worse. Imagine fucking Loki wasn't in it. Holy shit. then we'd be talking about something disgraceful.
Unbelievable. It would be disgraceful, yeah.
So yeah, this wasn't quite as much of a chore as other ROH shows have been to me, and that's sort of my personal summary. But I believe you have your own personal way of summarizing these shows, so everybody gets to know exactly what's on them using your sounds.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. From match order. What the hell is this place anyway? Okay. Fuck off. That's it.
Good stuff. I've now completely sort of immersed that in my brain.
I was worried, like, while I was still watching this show, and I'd logged the match that, like, I, like, think was, because I wasn't sure if I would be able to do a raspberry. It was just because I was, like, in the company of someone else, and thus I couldn't very well just, like, without looking like a malcontent or some sort. So, I'm very glad that just, like, in, like, a pressure situation, I managed to pull it off. Yeah.
Yeah, you're performing in all that high pressure for sure.
Yeah, high pressure situations, man. Amazing. Gabe Sapolsky, fucking hate you.
Yeah, Gabe Sapolsky.
Ah,
Gabe, can you follow us, please?
Gabe. We'll do the hard to get with you, Gabe. I'm telling you, I'm gonna do it. You don't believe me?
Can you follow us and do an interview with us, please, so that we can put to bed that we're shills for DJ Hyde? We like DJ Hyde. He is good at wrestling. Gabe Sapolsky is very bad at making wrestling.
Well, contact him like, fair warning, Gabe. We got a bit critical of your stuff here. It's all good fun though. Fucking hate you, Gabe. My life is worse for having you in it.
What can you say that's more cutting than that? My life is worse for having Gabe Sapolsky.
These men have all got to be saying to themselves right now, I need points, I must score points. It's very simple.